Meet Steve. It's his first day on the job after passing his Atlas operator certification. This is Edwards. After 36 years of a successful cargo foreman career, he's ready to retire. And this is Bob, your everyday hauler. Bob doesn't give a shit. Bob is too busy reading a funny post online.
Hello everyone, welcome. We all know what's happening. Oh geez, are we gonna get ads? Oh no, we're gonna get ads. Oh no. Is there anything I can do here? Bruh. Oh my god. Really? Oh, that is just gonna happen, isn't it? Right, Twitch is fun. Let's... pull up YouTube then. Alright. Yeah, so, I don't think I have high expectations at all. I really don't know what to expect. All I want them to do is just not talk about 4.3.2. It's kind of all I want. Just, hey, maybe at the very least acknowledging that 4.3.2 exists and is a thing, but yeah. They'll probably talk about, they'll definitely talk about new ships. Probably going to be a ship that releases today. We can go and look at that. Let's see what else. I am expecting that they're going to talk about Nyx. I think that Nyx, at the very least, because of dynamic server meshing, Nyx should be like, Nyx shouldn't happen until dynamic server meshing. And also, I think that, like, Pyro and Stanton are basically the same. The only real difference, size and location and factions, sure. But, like, the real practical gameplay difference is that Pyro doesn't have Klesher, but Klesher, is not enough of a deterrent for, like, for stuff. And there is a bunch of other gameplay implications that, like, yeah, Stanton needs to be more secure. And it's not supposed to be a high-sec system, it's supposed to be a mid-sec system or a low-sec system. As opposed to, no security, low security, high security. So, yeah. God. Sorry, I just took a bite of pizza and there was just a rock hard thing. Take that out of context, I dare you. Hello, duck. Oh, okay. Later, duck. Well, damn. Okay.
Hi there, I'm Scooter Lee Scooter from the beautiful Brio's Breaker Yard on Damer. Now, some people think Brio's is still a rough
thank you.
kind of place, but that just ain't true, Bo. Brio's is a safe environment with fun for the whole
Hang on,
family.
I'm gonna...
And we don't just sell gently used spaceships. We also do ship repairs, ship detailing, ship
do a thing real
and
quick.
even weapon swaps. So when you need your next
I'm gonna
ship
change
upgrade,
around my
you come on
volume.
down and you tell Scooter sent you.
And you know...
Have a good evening.
Well... I don't know what you're doing right now, Duck, but, I mean, you're welcome to lurk. Everyone, always welcome to lurk. Although that might not be... So if you gotta go, you gotta go. Alright. I just wanted to switch around the audio to my TV instead of my headphones. Yeah, I don't have any huge expectations. Like, I'm sure that they're probably only gonna show maybe, like, the things that are coming in the latest tech preview. I'm sure we're not gonna... I mean, I could see maybe a sprint report type deal on a lot of features they talked about, like at last CitizenCon. Be like, hey, this is where Star Ware's at. This is where Maelstrom's at. Yada, yada, yada. Because the thing is that there's a lot of stuff that's done, technically. Alright, sorry. Yeah, there's a lot of things that are done, technically. But they just haven't been integrated into Star Citizen. And who knows, like, they might be... Like, the feature might be done, but they're, not, necessarily super polished. Like Maelstrom, I mean, I'm assuming that Maelstrom, like... I don't know. I kind of get the sense that Maelstrom is done. Maybe it isn't done.
You won't know I'm here. Silence, crawling through the shadows. I don't care why. I finish the job. Darkness makes you weak, makes you blind. No pain, no fear. Just cold breath on your neck. When the light comes back, you're already gone.
Yeah, what else? What else? I am expecting... Well, I don't have any expectations for the digital goodies pack reveal. I just hope the weapons aren't... I think there were 2 or 3 weapons, and if one of them's like a katana or like a sword, I'd be cool with that. But I hope they're not all just like fancy knives. No expectations for the armor, furniture, or whatever. The new ship, well, yeah. So they mentioned there's a ship that's going to be showcased. It's going to be revealed. That's like I think the 5th. No, I think the like 100 or maybe 200 referral bonus for the new ladder is like, hey, we're going to reveal it at CitizenCon. So presumably that's going to happen. Presumably. And like, what are the ships we know about? There's the Drake thing, which might not be Drake. There's the CNOU thing, which might not be Consolidated Outlands. Amazing. Oh, and the RSI salvage starter. I think there have been rumors about a medium salvage ship, but who knows? But yeah. What else am I expecting? What else am I expecting? Amazing. But he had his suit on, so, you know. Aside from physical trauma, he was, you know, could still breathe. Let's see. Oh, I should also say that, yeah, there are some things that are definitely, like, they have not worked on, like, I mean, like, I assume that Starware is a thing that is happening, but, like, last CitizenCon, they didn't actually show Starware as a system working. They only talked about it. And in the monthly reports, they've talked about integrating it, or, like, updating things. Basically, a bunch of art / tech debt. And, yeah. Although, like, there are some things, like, there's the armor specializations, which I don't think is necessarily a part of Starware. I think, as far as I'm concerned, those are two separate things. And I think they could probably play around with a lot of those things right now if they wanted to. It's just a matter of, oh, this armor has this much damage reduction. Has this much of an impact on mobility. And I think there are, there is some precedent for, like, stealth stuff. Some of the stealth things technically are in-game, but of course we're not, like, really there for the most part.
One day.
Amazing. Well, I wouldn't expect crafting. I mean, crafting and base building were like two major things from last CitizenCon. But, I don't know. I also have... I have a beer, and I have a soda. I'm gonna wait to see which one I start with here. And also, we will probably play a little bit of Star Citizen after the show. I also feel bad for anybody who has a bingo card that had, like, technical difficulties. Because, like, dude, this is probably all a pre-recorded video. I don't know how the hell they have technical difficulties. Well, you know, they are streaming it. Yeah, okay. Do the countdown. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26. Oh my god, it's gonna make that feel fast. Okay, and I can't remember last year if I really felt like I talked over everything, but well, I am here, so.
This year has marked a turning point in Star Citizen's history. We have finally moved past the question of whether we can build an architecture to deliver a universe with incredible detail at massive scale, seamlessly, and where thousands of people can all play together. Server meshing has been working pretty much flawlessly at scale for the past 9 months. It has brought a more populated and active
that
verse
is fair.
with up to 700 players online and in the same space at once. It's greatly increased server performance and delivered a much more responsive player experience. I couldn't be prouder of the team. They delivered something no other online game does presently. There may be other games out there that claim large player counts, or even the ability to mesh, but none do it at our detail, scale, and seamlessness. Of course, there will be continued improvements to server meshing and to Star Engine, but having moved past this last big technological hurdle has allowed us to finally focus on quality of life and stability improvements, something that has long been overdue. We're about to deliver our 9th patch in 10 months, with content that has brought Star Citizen storytelling into new and exciting directions. We pushed more than 24 features and more than 2,000 bug fixes. And
What do you
while
mean
there's still a long way to
features?
go, the game has gotten more
What?
stable, performant, and fun as a result. We see this in player metrics. More of you play every day. The daily average users is up 45% from last year, and your play time is up 15%. So more people venture out into the verse and stay there longer than ever before. And through all that, we've told the dual stories of the Frontier Fighters Assault on Pyro and the moral compromises being made to combat the regen crisis. Now, as those stories come to a rest for the time being, it's time to look forward to the next chapter of Star Citizen, where the instability in Pyro and the callous actions of some pave the way to new adventures, new locations, and new threats. Last year, we announced our next Star Citizen would be Nyx, home to the People's Alliance of Levski and bordering the boundary
Okay.
threat. Today, we're proud to share that your adventures in Nyx begin not next year, but next month, when Star Citizen's third
Oh,
system
god damn
comes
it.
online in Alpha 4.4. 2 new systems in 1 year. That's only possible because of the tireless work of our development teams, server meshing accelerating what's possible, the support
They're going
teams
too
behind the scenes,
fast.
and most importantly, all of you.
They're going
Now, I
too
do miss
goddamn
that we're not all
fast.
together under one roof this year, but in many ways, we're more connected than ever. Across the globe, many of you are gathering at watch parties,
Which I know is
reminding them of our
ironic to
developers
say,
and
but like,
tenants, and
we need
countless others
features.
springing
We
up
need,
from
like,
communities everywhere, and
I don't know
all
what 2
happening
dozen features you're
simultaneously.
talking about. Because, like,
Even if we're separated by oceans and continents.
I mean, technically, yeah,
bound
probably,
together by the
but
same passion
also,
for space,
no.
for discovery, and for this incredible universe
What?
we're building together. Whether you're at home or alongside your crew at a watch party, grab a drink, sit back, and let us take you inside.
Okay, so also it's gonna be the beer.
Next year of Star Citizen.
I mean, look, I'm also extremely excited for Nyx, but but like they didn't do shit in Pyro. There's so much stuff that still needs to be done. Not to mention dynamic server meshing, and it's not just, oh, they need to finish this feature, it's literally that dynamic server meshing is like, will save them on server costs. They won't have to, they'll only have to spool up the necessary servers instead of spooling up 10 servers when there's only 7 being used
With the
on a shard or
foundational
whatever.
technology now in place, the content development of the game is no longer restricted, allowing us to forge ahead with building out our first 5-star systems. Nyx will see the much-loved Levski landing zone, added back to the verse, while also bringing you one of its most iconic landmarks, the Glacium Belt. Here, you'll experience a new combined arms operation that will introduce new factions and new adventures for you to discover. With this edition of our third star system, we're also going to do something that's at the heart of the entire Star Citizen experience, and that is to build it right in front of you. As we have done this year, with the addition of several major locations, such as the Hathor facility or the Lazarus complex, we will continue to unveil new Nyx content throughout the year. It's a slightly different approach to how we deliver Pyro, but we feel this gets the content into your hands sooner and shows our intent as we continue our march towards 1.0.
I mean, they're not going to
I'm
show us, they're just going to
incredibly proud of
release
what
it.
we've done.
They're not going to
Our
talk about
continuing
development.
And we're excited to have you on this next step of our journey. And as with any journey in Star Citizen, that begins with a little story.
In 2025, we introduced two major storylines spanning multiple patches, creating a living backbone for adventure across the universe. The first was Pyro Must Burn. It connected Stanton to Pyro and introduced the Frontier Fighters, who are relentless.
No, I don't care about
brutal,
the Frontier Fighters.
determined to wipe out any threats.
I gotta be honest.
And with this month's release, you'll now take part in the conclusion to that storyline. The second was Science Run Amok, with the regen crisis throwing the Empire into chaos, and you all jumping in to help the various corporations respond. Through that journey, we pulled back the curtain on ASD and its shady practices, uncovering long-forgotten Onyx facilities, and met new characters like Dr. Logan Yorit and Detective Arkham Meller of the Hokro Agency. And just like the Pyro Must Burn storyline carried us into a new system, Science Run Amok is now setting the stage for Nyx, the next step in the larger story we're telling on the road to 1.0. As this new chapter of Star Citizen begins, let's hear from just a few of the team members working to bring this next era of our universe to life.
When the Nyx system was first discovered,
Also, it seems like this is going to be
United
very
Empire
content focused.
came out and did scans and kind of found out that the system wasn't really worth settling. The planets were too hard to terraform, the resources were too tough to get, so they opened it up. And one company saw opportunity where the UE didn't, QV Planet Services. And so they expanded into the system and tried to mine as much as they could, making a very slim margin by the sheer quantity of resources they were pulling out.
The system itself sort of ran its course from sort of a large corporate interest perspective, and then was mostly left abandoned.
Now this ended up being the ideal situation for the People's Alliance, who were a group of revolutionaries who were trying to overthrow the dictatorship of the Messer regime that was going on in the Empire at the time.
I thought they were just trying to
So
escape
they
from it.
went to the Nyx system and established what became known as Levski. They wanted to make it everything that the UEE wasn't at this time.
They set up what they saw as their ideal society, where everyone's voices would be heard, where everyone would be equal. But they've fallen onto hard times. So Nyx today is kind of at an interesting point in its history. Now that the UEE has kind of transformed itself into a democratic society, what is their role? What are the People's Alliance rebelling against? And they still see the Empire as being inherently unfair. They see their role as still trying to create a free and fair society. But on the other hand, they have more problems than ever, and there's new threats lurking around every corner. And they have to ask, are they prepared to handle that? Or do they need to turn to the UEE for help?
Interesting.
Making a star system is you approach it from kind of two angles in a weird way. What is this system bringing to the gallery? how does this new system plug into it, and what does it bring to the table from a sort of a flavor experience? We want to make sure that whatever it's bringing to the company is unique and has some flair to it.
So the Nix system is a remote system where people want to go and live free outside of the pressure and influence of the UEE. It's a remote and rugged system with a lot of hostility coming from the ever-present threat of Vandal.
It's kind of like a frontier-esque thing. It's not lawless like Pyro, it's just kind of out there. Pyro's more like a Mad Max wasteland, and Nix is more like Silverado or like Deadwood, right? It's kind of like a smaller scope.
The emptiness and the loneliness is the defining factor. You're still going to find gangs, you're still going to find...
I'm super
hostile
curious how they're
presence,
gonna
but it's where people go
make
if
that
they
work.
wanna live up
Also,
to
it's
the-
really strange because Nix is a crossroads. Like, there's actually a lot of systems that are crossroads.
Unhappy with
I mean, Pyro honestly is as well, but
with the messers, they got out. They said, we're just going to start from scratch,
Yeah.
build our own society, but build it the way that we think it needs to be built.
They're not perfect. They're just people, but they're doing their best. They want to help.
they're doing their best. They're just
make
little
it safe
guys.
and make it prosper.
They are trying to do the best that they can, but are faced with the realities of dealing with people, which is tricky.
Faced with the realities of dealing with people,
Pirate Star is quite
which
a
is
warm
tricky.
star. Stanton Star is quite neutral, and the Nix is a little bit cooler. The system has its star, and it has this dark, really, really dense gas, sort of nebulous cloud. And it has points of light scattered around it, and those points of light in this gas cloud is really, really hazy. So because Nix is bordering Vandal space, it was important that we have a gap in the Nix gas cloud where you could sort of just, in between the clouds, see a piece of the Vandal space. It feels so close that it's even like
Oh my
protruding
God.
some red light.
Okay.
The level designers are using it as an actual visual indicator of where to place more dangerous POIs. So if you point your ship in the direction of it, you should find, as we build it out, that you will be in more and more danger. And I think that's really cool.
Okay. I mean,
To give more atmosphere, I was testing out adding some sort of
Alright.
space snowflakes, essentially. So when you look towards the sun,
Fair enough, I
you
guess.
can sort of see that sort of like sparkle. But then when you look away from the sun, you'll see the reflections and sort of like little glints of light. For the jump points in Nix, we'll have 2 on this release. We'll have one from Pyro to Nix and one from Stanton to Nix. It should be going from Nix to Castra, but we're essentially bypassing Castra
Oh.
temporarily.
Hey, we want to make sure you can get there any way you want.
Okay.
Glacian Belt is
I can
a
respect that, but
huge
it's
asteroid
still
belt that
interesting.
is in sort of the middle of the system.
Glacian Belt is a combination of a bunch of technologies that we already had. The asteroid fields we use for planetary rings and the gas clouds, and it's combining them to make something completely new that we've just not seen before.
I don't think I really like the idea of the jump point
Resources
being
that
to
are
Stanton.
so
I mean, like,
harvested because it's kind of a different
travel isn't so bad.
place.
Travel isn't
That
so
means
bad
there's
that,
still a
like,
lot of
you're like, oh, I'm not
opportunities
going to be able to get to go here, do this, or whatever.
So the
It's
rocks in Nix are
usually
more
not that
sharp,
bad.
like sorts of like icy look, rocky, cliff-like, very different from those in the Pyro and the Stanton.
One of the big differences too is all of that extra added movement that just adds a little bit of extra flair.
It's also a good hiding spot for people who are trying to elude capture, maybe set up ambushes, that type of stuff.
Always feel way more interesting flying in those spaces than just, you know, empty void.
And as we build out the Glacian Belt over the next year, lots of places to put new content.
The problem is that
Elmar is a very large asteroid in the Glacian Belt.
problem is that Nix is going to be like the place to do stuff.
Taken over by the People's Alliance and renamed Levski.
Gonna feel like everything else is just abandoned. It's gonna, like, everybody's gonna be flocking towards Nyx.
Social outpost for Nyx.
It's kind of like the place where you stop before you do your panning. So it's kind of a San Francisco before you go out to the gold rush.
It's going to be the central hub for trade and hauling and all of the commerce within Nyx and also from Nyx to other systems. But it does have a CD underlayer to it.
Over the years, you're sort of improving the generation method of those asteroids to culminate towards this specific point to make large, explorable location.
Even this I wouldn't say is really talking about the development of anything. This is just showing it off and talking about maybe a little bit of history, but not really talking about a development history, maybe.
Apparently unique by the fact that it's a facility clamped onto the side of an asteroid. The breathtaking views of looking into the belt instantly gives it a unique charm and flavor.
As you approach, you'll initially see a very dramatic borehole that goes all the way.
But I'm not
through the
seeing like
asteroid.
white box stuff
You'll also
or,
see growing out from there.
you know,
inside
I mean, this is all work in progress
there
shots,
will be
sure, but
landing pads along what I'd call the spine. Lots of industrial pipes and transport systems to bring out the refined mining materials when it was a mining station.
Before we were using an actual planet, so we had all of the space available to place all of these structures. But now it kind of meant that we had to create an asteroid which has the appropriate size to.
If we took the whole shot of the asteroid, you will see that there is an area to fly underneath. We plan on bringing in hull C gameplay, so this is exterior cargo elevators, so as a team you will be able to load and unload cargo.
There's a lot more movement on the exterior, such as the cargo trains going around tracks. It's now going to be fully EVA-able. There will be walkways around the main landing zone to walk on using gravity plates, but you can drift off and kind of go wherever you want. They can explore fully the whole place, which is great.
no, it's good to see that dude.
Unlike the
Trying to
majority
remember
of anarchists
what his name
living
was,
in
but
Pyro, there are people here in Nyx that care.
It's not a downtrodden or derelict, dilapidated location. It has a sense of order.
But only where the People's Alliance has people living.
We've had LiveScoop before, and we've updated it quite substantially to be more in line with the newer features that have been put in since, but also visually, and there's been a lot of quality of life fixes that we've wanted to add and bring up to like a good standard for a landing zone.
Gracing the main lobby of Levski is a large statue of Anthony Tanaka, who was a child worker.
And was being worked to death. All of them were.
Trying to think. I don't think that area has changed too much. They have a med bay now, but
The foreman, the supervisors, the managers, the guards, and was killed for it. And so he became a sort of a figurehead.
And kind of was one of the linchpin moments in seeing the fall of the Messer regime.
So if you take the elevator up to the top deck, you'll see the top view and the cargo area as well. So you can go through the cargo shop. You've got your normal kind of cargo needs. You'll have ability to trade.
I think Levski was one of the fastest,
Other gear that you need.
like, hab to hangar transport things. I think technically
So Mercy
Port
Hospital
Olisar
is
was
basically
faster.
A
but,
local
yeah.
med station for all the residents of Levski, anybody traveling through the system. Again, they're trying to provide as good medical help for people as they can.
When you arrive at the hab's location, you'll be presented with a lobby, elevator bank, and then you will take that transit to
Ooh.
the hab room.
Oh, friends.
So within that room will be pods.
And that's where the original miners would have lived. They're not the nicest, and they're a bit messy, but they're a home for people in Levski. If you head down to the lower view deck, you'll go through into the Grand Barter, which is your main social and commercial area of Levski.
This is where you will see.
Looks like they
market
really
sellers
cleaned it
selling
up.
Their wares. There will be stalls. There will be kind of more embedded shops.
And that includes things like Corderies, which is your armor shop, and also conscientious objects, which is for weapons. There's also one of my favorite places, Cafe Musée, which is where you can go down into some of the more rocky depths and grab yourself a drink, and you never know who you meet down there. If you explore a bit more around the Grand Barter, there's other routes around and little side passages. There's another shop that's away from that area called Teachers.
Teach's Ship Shop is basically where you would go if you were looking to pick up a used ship, buy some ship parts, fix up your old ship, find some new stuff, sell some scrap.
We've closed up Dumpers Depot for Levski, and everything that used to be sold there will now be sold at Teachers.
Okay.
Another new area, as well as the cargo shop that we've added, is the refinery deck for Levski. That's where
Isn't there a clothing store in Levski?
process goods, not just from Levski, but from the rest of the Nix.
Also, why are they
and refine
like
and sell those goods there? As a lot of the content.
this is a lot of detail for a 2-hour show.
So it's super important that.
And also, it's a thing that's happening next month.
for mining type of gameplay. So we're really happy to bring Levski back into the game. It's been gone for quite a few years now.
I think it really provided a unique environment of it's run down, but the people who live there love it and are working their hardest to make it a great place to live.
This is a location that has a lot of nostalgia for you guys, and we don't want this just to be a re-release. We do want you to go, wow.
It's not going to be as complete as Pyro was when it first came out, but it's going to be our first iteration, and you're going to be able to see it grow.
I mean, how complete was Pyro in its first release?
Everything
Oh, they
was
did mention.
learning and improving and finding new ways.
I mean, is there anything more Star Citizen than just building the system while the players watch us build it around them?
It's going to add a nice dynamic to Stanton and be a much more calming of style system than Pyro.
The people that would have played it before are going to love to see this come back, and the people that haven't seen it before, it's going to be a great new location.
This is the first time that I'm going to be able to touch stuff and kind of bring my own content to the game, and that's really exciting to me.
Levski coming back into the game is a huge milestone personally for me.
So I guess Pyro 1, 2, and I think there's Pyro.
So seeing it come
Pyro has, or I'm sorry, Nyx has three planets.
is fantastic.
And so it sounds like we're not getting any of the planets, which is like okay. Okay, so that was 20 minutes just talking about Nyx, and basically, I mean, like,
So we talked about Levski.
it was a lot of fluff. That could have been an Inside Star Citizen.
What's the new gameplay activity we're going to be doing?
It should have been an Inside Star Citizen,
Welcome
honestly.
to Nyx is your first experience in a new space station in a new solar system.
It's a mystery to be solved. There's things for the player to explore and look into. There's going to be some twists and turns, of course, some combat, and if you're lucky enough to survive, maybe some good rewards.
This is basically a continuation of kind of our ASD storyline. So in the closing out what we had called our Science Run Amok storyline, we had revealed that ASD had been procuring sort of very black market illegal stuff in order to conduct their experiments. So this mission is basically going to be continuing on that trail.
So the Navy has learned that illegal tech is being sold in the UAE, and they're hiring Intersect to investigate. Intersect Defense Solutions is the leading military defense contractor in the UAE. So the Navy contracts with them a lot for doing various kind of military operations that they don't want to handle themselves. We didn't want players to be working directly for the Navy. The Navy just doesn't call up random citizens and ask like, hey, if you're free, can you fly a helicopter? I guess as a player, when you can think about like, oh, where am I going to be doing missions that are capital ship battles or large fleet scale stuff or military operations, that's all going to come from Intersect Defense Solutions.
Okay.
Intersect have discovered the source of the illegal tech is in the NIC system and an old abandoned QV Planet Services logistics station that's come back online.
So they want the players to figure out what's going on.
So when you
Lovely.
come out of Quantum and you start your approach vector to the objective, you'll be weaving through asteroids, going through the Glacian Belt, and slowly the station will reveal itself. Now this is an old QV logistics station. It's pretty beat up, it's pretty derelict, but there's some points of interest that you'll spot as you go through. So the station itself shares design cues from old Pan Am stations found in Pyro. This architectural design found its way over to the NIC system as the system was being established. But you'll also see some additional design cues that QV planetary services were adding, so it's a nice transition architectural point. It's fairly skeletal in design. You'll see logistics yards and cargo yards, but also facilities pinned inside the asteroid, creating this network of facilities. You'll notice there's a Polaris near the main hub. It's not a normal Polaris. It's damaged, it's broken. It's not a standard corporate Polaris. So at this point, you should be asking yourself, who does this belong to? Away from the Polaris, you'll see struts leading to asteroid bases. Now these asteroid bases are locked, so you don't know exactly what's inside just yet. But all of this comes together to form the playground for the mission to take place. So not only is this facility unabandoned, but it's also under attack from a surprising but familiar foe.
Okay. Fucking Vandul. Yeah. I mean, how familiar are they? I don't think... I'm not, like, upset also that, like, we're seeing the Vandul before Squadron 42, but it is an absolute change of pace for them. It's like... they used to care so much about spoilers. That, like, oh, we can't show the Idris because the interior of the Idris is so important for the narrative of Squadron 42. We don't want to spoil it. And now they're just like, yeah, we're gonna have Vandul before Squadron 42 shows up. And it's like, what?
But it seems like whoever's running the station is really pissed them off.
Vandal raiding parties have been rioting in the system, and they're unaffiliated to any clan. There's small groups coming in and picking at them. But as time goes on, those raids are getting bigger and more frequent.
There'll be the scythes that you're familiar with, glaives and blades that we all know and hate, and a new craft for the PU, the Vandal Stinger.
Stinger? I think...
You'll be contacted by some civilians on arrival asking you for help.
So at this point, you have a choice. You can either bug out, mission over, or join the fight. This will be the first time since the PU launch that you'll be able to fight against Vandal aggressor ships.
This fight will be intense. The player should be able to deal with them, but they will have to be prepared and they'll have to come back in to fight off this initial wave, and that won't be the end of it.
What is this?
After you fight off the Vandal ships, the mysterious inhabitants of the station invite you to come on board.
Which intersects of will
That pilot was not shooting at anything, by the way. What?
What's happening?
Or their pips were extremely misaligned.
You dock your ship, you board the station, and it turns out the inhabitants here have a real surprise for you.
Everything is real surprises, right?
These guys are not your friends.
Of course, it's not going to be easy because the people that are inhabiting the station are going to fight you every step of the way.
Also looks like new armor.
Challenging, but this definitely will be the warm-up phase of this mission. This will be the players getting a sense of what exactly is going on here, who these new people are. They'll be in unfamiliar armor. They'll be wielding unfamiliar weapons. And we want you to get a sense that you are in a new place, in a new territory, fighting.
Also, they got God mode on.
So after you survive this initial ambush, you get back in touch with Intersec, and obviously the question is, who are these people? Why are they attacking? Why are the Vandal attacking them?
They're asking a lot of
There's
questions.
more going on here than anyone thought. The directive from Intersect is to explore the station and collect as much information as you possibly can.
Along the way, you're going to get to explore some new areas.
It's not just the space station. There's the disabled capital ship. There's asteroid bases nearby with obvious installations there, other forces that the Vandal have been attacking. There's a debris field.
Explore the locations in any order you want and try to find out who these people are and why the Vandal are after them.
Okay, thank God they don't actually say, because I was like,
what's going on at the space station, and find out what kind of loot they have for you now that you've beat them.
And of course, this is a legally open station, so anything you find is yours to keep and sell, maybe even give to Wicklow.
amazing.
This isn't just a one-time event, this is a permanent sort of mission that we're going to be adding to the game.
You can go back and repeat this mission and find ways to
Until it breaks and they
faster.
forget about it and don't maintain it, of course.
Obviously, we can't have the same thing happen every time. There'll be other missions that Intersec will offer to you based on the evidence that you found.
Now you know the real story, and you can start digging and giving more information to Intersec along the way.
It sounds good. I am kind of curious how much.
I'm super excited to finally see the Vandal.
How difficult the Vandal will be.
Bring cool Vandal ship combat to SC.
Players in the PU will now get to face down these awesome ships and get a taste of like we already have it in Arena Commander, where you get to fight the Vandal swarm and being
The Vandal and Arena Commander, every time I've done it, are extremely easy. Comedically easy, in fact.
So this marks a great milestone for us for not only pushing hard and adding great content this year, we're also being able to introduce the next star system and introducing the next landscape to tell new stories and add new gameplay beats into the ever-expanding universe. So we'll leave 4.4 there. If you're at one of the watch parties, please raise a toast to the great work that all the teams have been doing this year. And I'll be right back in just a few minutes to look ahead at some of the things coming in 2026.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Voyager Bar in beautiful scenic Orizon, where the staff of Cloud Imperium Games Manchester is gathered for their very own CitizenCon Direct watch party.
Alright, give me a second. I gotta.
Happening at locations around the world, we've gathered today to watch this sneak peek at just a little of what the next year of Star Citizen has in store for everyone. Oh, that was really good, everybody. I'm Jared Huckabee, your host for the festivities and for the show today, and let me tell you, it's not a joke, it's not a gag. Next week, we're hitting our 9th patch in 10 months, and then in November, we're going to finish out the year strong with the long-awaited arrival of the Nyx system. And in case you missed it because you were chatting with friends, hi. It's not the lawless wasteland of Pyro many folks have been speculating, but an independent system with its own set of rules and laws and multiple.
What do you mean people have been speculating?
For everyone at Cloud
What?
Imperium Games, because as the architects of our persistent universe said at the start of the show,
Mission.
the foundational tech that we've been building for so many years has now unlocked us to bring more to Star Citizen than ever before as we continue our journey towards 1.0. Now, before we continue with the show, let's get a few housekeeping tasks out of the way. First, we're simulcast on YouTube and Twitch. So if you want the keen communities of Twitch or the 4K ultra high resolution of YouTube, you have your choice. Second, throughout the broadcast today,
I just
we
don't
will
want ads.
see and hear what you have to say along the way, and you can tell us on social media by using #CitizenCon. We're especially interested to see any photos from those watch parties that are happening across the globe, and we're going to find some way to bring a few of them into the broadcast later in the program. Third, we've also had a CitizenCon contest going for people to create their very own slice of life in the PU videos, and we played the winning entries during our pre-show countdown. The offerings were super varied. The idea was to work with a team to show the life of a miner or a hauler or a bounty hunter or whatever. But one guy just said, I'm going to make a video about how awesome I am. And I respect that. So shout out Nocturnal Revenant. I don't remember if you were one of the winners getting an L21 Wolf from Kruger for their efforts, but you won the coveted Disco Lando Complete Narcissist Award. To all the winners, I'm sure someone will either be in touch with you about your wolves or they'll just show up on your accounts. I really don't know how that process works. Probably would have been good to find out. I'm so afraid. Either way, if you missed the pre-show and are curious if you won, you can check the replay after we're done here today.
Lovely.
Right. I just realized that my bosses, Chris and Sandy, are sitting in a movie theater watch party in Switzerland right now. A completely captive audience. So real behind the scenes here. This is especially torturous for Chris right now because he's super excited about the next segment we've got coming up. Aren't you, Chris? And you just sat there right now.
That face.
To watch and listen to anything.
Oh, man.
Do either of you regret that decision so long ago? All right, so I've probably pushed my luck enough. Let's get to the next thing. When Nyx arrives next month, it'll have Levski, the Glacium Belt, and the new Welcome to Nyx operation we just discussed. But throughout 2026, we'll also continue to build the star system out with new features and new technologies that will not only set Nyx apart and give it a unique identity from its
What about the
star
planets?
system, but continue to set Star Citizen apart from other video games altogether. Now at this point, if you're running one of the watch parties, you're going to want to crank your speakers up for some brand new music from the Maestro Pedro himself. And let's take a look at some of what the next year has to offer for the Nyx system.
I mean, I'm sorry. It would be insane if they didn't have the planets. Although, honestly, I am very surprised we aren't seeing the planets initially.
At Cloud Imperium Games, we believe art inspires the best technology. And through the development of that technology, it pushes us
Could also be
to
Genesis
create
news?
even better art. When Genesis comes to the persistent universe starting next year, it will change how you experience every world, and not just in the building of the new planets for the Nyx system. We will also go back through Stanton and Pyro and reimagine them through the lens of our technology. Previously, and more traditionally, we'd create slices of biomes, like deserts or forests. This approach moved us forwards and got us this far, but solving the scale was always tricky. And for Star Citizen, we like to do scale on another level. Issues like seeing tiling from our height maps from high altitude, or the unpredictable blending when two biomes connected, were common. But ultimately, things just never felt right. Our worlds were gorgeous, but to us, they still sometimes felt like interpretations. Now this was a super hard problem, which we needed to solve at the scale for Star Citizen requires. We challenged ourselves to emulate nature in the most believable way, and not just on a planetary scale, but to our level of detail.
So, I think they kind of teased Microtech specifically.
We've made a complete paradigm shift to how we do things.
No, actually, they didn't tease Microtech
Minds are now
specifically.
created based on the physical data sets, with the assets being spawned whenever and wherever the correct criteria is found. So when you see a forest or a meadow, it's no longer because an artist painstakingly crafted it there. It's now because it simply wants to be there. It fits inside our rules. Genesis also ties.
Oh, this is
to our
definitely
other
Microtech,
gameplay
yeah.
systems. Our new planets are built from the information we create for our different datasets, like height maps, humidity, temperature, soil type, soil amounts, geology erosion data, to name but a few.
I mean, this is also...
This means you can now tell where to find valuable minerals as the geology looks like it would be suitable for it.
Okay.
Where scree piles exist below sheer cliff faces, and where rocks have broken off over time due to erosion. Of course, these new tools still give us the ability to direct the look and feel we want. The attention to detail from the tallest mountain to the smallest flower is still our core DNA.
I wish they would just say what planet this is.
we can now keep that detail-orientated mindset.
Because is this also Microtech, or is this a different planet? Or have we been jumping between several, you know? This is mostly just them recapping the things they said last year.
Ultimate sense of exploration and adventure. Discovery in the purest emotional form. We want you to find that perfect place with the planets providing an abundant resource to harvest. This is a major part of what exploration is for us. We want that feeling of finding a
Oh, don't say that.
fall in love with, and where you want to settle down and build your home.
I mean, I agree to some degree that
Hand over to Will to go deeper into what we have built.
part of exploration is, you know, is the sightseeing, but also like there's,
and change as we continue our
if you're saying that the major part of exploration is just sightseeing and not like gameplay related things, then yeah, people are not gonna like that, and people are gonna take that
So, in case
out
it's
of
not already
context.
clear, Genesis is our name for a group of technologies that
Moist
are
Master.
improving our ability to build worlds, finding those that we've already created, and ultimately expanding our persistent universe to the scale and quality that we all expect. I work on Planet Tech, so let's talk about how that's continued to evolve since our presentation last year. And instead of just highlighting some really cool biomes that we can create, let's go ahead and show how all this work applies to the upcoming planets of Nyx.
Cool.
So there are 3 planets in Nyx. Nyx 3 is a gas giant, and I think it's blue. It's not going to surface. I don't really know.
I thought it was an ice giant. But I don't think they're that different, really.
It's got like this high pressure atmosphere, and it's like a very volatile planet with high risk reward gameplay. It's going to have some really interesting biomes for you to discover, but for now, just know it's going to be dangerous, because today we're going to focus on what we consider to be the hero planet of this system.
Nyx 2? I hope they were talking about Nyx 1 before.
Nyx 1 has got
Oh.
a rugged, remote beauty. It's got a diverse
Okay.
set of biomes, from weathered rocky mountain ranges to vast sweeping forests and grasslands.
Oh.
And damp, expansive wetlands.
What?
Claustrophobic, festering swamps. These core biome concepts give us a fantastic platform to hone our technology. In some cases, because the current tech couldn't do them at all, or because we want to completely step up our game for them.
So they just made Nyx 1 a habitable planet?
So,
It maybe
approach
isn't
this
habitable.
planet in much the same way that you,
But-
the player, will, from orbit.
Oh my god.
The orbit appearance of the planets going forward is far more tied to what is present on the surface. Previously,
They can't just make these systems that are unclaimed just be like, oh
the
no.
orbit was designed to look like vegetation that we placed
Yeah,
on the
no, there's
surface.
there's just a habitable
Was trying to
planet
produce
in
solid
every
rock,
system.
organic compound coloring that forms
Because like,
kind of colors there.
ugh.
Now we
I mean, they
also
can
function
retcon it,
a
but
unified
it would not be an unclaimed system
You see blues and
if
greens
you
for
had a
ocean
planet that you could
vegetation,
breathe on.
brown or yellowy tones for sand and
That much
sea.
I can
We wanted to
guarantee
keep it
you.
as simple as that. The same set of textures and data that define the color of the soil, sand, and rock on the ground are used to create the orbital look. We then assess the presence of vegetation and competition between different species on each part of the planet and use that to blend in tones of green, including variations due to species health and the current season. This creates a far more complete image and allows you to identify features, geologies, and potential points of interest all the way from space.
This might be the most development thing
Let's
they're
go down to
talking
the
about.
surface and start with something closer to what you're used to, but in a whole new light.
And I do appreciate it. I do appreciate it, even though I'm not like super interested into this particular topic. But like, yeah.
When we approached the surface of the planet, we wanted to start by focusing on just the soil and rock. One of the things that was missing from our terrain previously was simply feature complexity. Looking at our contemporaries, we lacked detail at the ground scale. To combat this, we've added a new layer of data. That layer is called the medium tiles. These are intelligently placed on top of the existing 4-kilometer terrain tiles based on slope, soil type, and other erosion data. And these medium tiles don't just create height changes, they also bring in local erosion data both for soil and bedrock size values. And this gives us a whole new level of terrain detail, of scale, and allows us to create far more unique locations across the planet. So now that we've nailed the surface, let's have a look at adding some rocks. We've now got two major contributors to the rock content of our planets. Firstly,
This is a big one.
desired feature, cliffs.
Oh,
We are
very
adding
nice.
large scale, very detailed to all our cliffs based on the geology at a given location. This adds an exciting new dimension to steep slopes that we simply couldn't get before. The second is a big one for you ground vehicle enthusiasts. Rocks are now found not scattered everywhere, like spilt popcorn at the cinema, only in places you'd expect to find them, thanks to a brand new rock scattering algorithm that isn't annoying as hell.
Hell yeah.
Using
Okay.
physical data,
So you don't want to drive through those rocks.
medium type,
Probably.
Now rock
But
distribution makes sense and has a
there is a solid area where you can drive without fear of
crashing into them
exploding.
after this comes out, that's on you.
Fair enough, fair enough.
The rock assets themselves have had a glow up too. We now create rock sets related to a particular geology that look like they originated from the same source. And this ties into how we'll be distributing minables in much more interesting ways too.
It took me a solid half a second to recognize that that was a rock and not a
Let's add some vegetations and
physical
explore
rock.
some additional biomes. Next one's forests and grasslands are full of trees, various grass species, rock formations, and they're found in all sorts of elevations like mountain valleys, open plains, and dense meadows.
Oh my god.
When we
Next
start to
one
add
should not.
water, they begin transitioning into more wet.
This looks beautiful, but next one should not be fucking habitable.
Our forests are super cool. Let's focus on the grasslands and wetlands today.
I don't want to talk over this, but like genuinely,
So,
like
how are we making
the
these
way they had built Nyx into the thing,
Obviously, we've had
like
grass before. There were never meadows of it. Because
there was a
until
whole
now, we haven't been able to
thing
spawn
about
grass in large
terraforming
enough
that I thought was a really
quantities or
cool
effectively
aspect of
represented
Nyx.
the distance. So we're
That
stepping up our game in terms of spawning, shaping,
that the
and
that the planet in the green zone, which by the way, Nyx 1 is not in the green zone.
we now leverage
Nyx 2 is the planet in the green zone. I guess they're changing that now.
across all biomes. Whether it be
I mean, we saw
meadows,
some creature
collections of ground cover, like you can see
also.
wetlands.
So I don't know if it was a quasi-graze or not,
We are
but
also able to fit our grass tiles to the ground by conforming them to the unique terrain underneath. Now we can finally cover complex terrain shapes with grass and ground cover assets. as
and
a
that's
result,
exciting.
we're
And
now
all this is
ground
exciting and all this is good. But like
oriented
why are they retconning this like big detail? Especially because this doesn't fucking make sense.
Next, let's take
It
a
would have
look
been
at
as
nighttime grass.
they would have claimed this system. I like they have to come up with some new retcon just because they want to do fancy planets. And there's plenty of other opportunities for them to do this.
Meadows of grass far more like fur or hair. And this, if you think about it, makes sense. At a distance, a field of grass is far more like a carpet or cloth than a flat surface. This improves how our grass looks from a near perspective, as well as bringing us nicely into how we're solving the distant representation of grass. So, let's talk about the distance problem. One of our biggest achievements with Genesis is allowing us to build beautiful biomes out of flora and geology assets like a building set. Can I say Lego?
No.
Too late. But in the past, this broke
Amazing.
down very quickly when objects simply disappeared when viewing the same biome from 10, 20, 100 kilometers away. Because we don't hide planetary transitions and allow you to view complex regions from very large distances, there are almost infinite perspectives from which you can see a location in Star Citizen. So, how can we afford to evaluate complex spawning logic at runtime for the entire swathes of the planet? Enter the virtual terrain. Virtual terrain, or VT for short, is how we now cache and represent our terrain at varying scales.
At least they didn't call it star terrain.
This has been the enabler for all of the lovely advances in terrain complexity and asset spawning we've shown so far. And it's also how we now evaluate and represent vegetation from a distance. When creating the VT for each part of the terrain, we assess if vegetation has covered the ground, and if so, what shading should be applied. For all of our biomes, we're now able to use the same shading model for the distant representation as the close-up asset, whether that's our lovely rolling hills, some more dramatic rockscapes, those muggy wetlands, or even our festering swamps. So yeah, we didn't forget about the swamps, and they're coming to Nyx 1 as well. Built using the lessons learned and all the technologies we've developed, these swamps now spring into existence from the planetary data. This biome combines all of the elements from the other biomes we've shown you today, from water interaction, denser spawning, unique ground coverage, and I think it creates something really unique. Anyway, that's our update on the Planet Tech portion of Genesis and how we're using it right now to sculpt the identity of Nyx 1. And I hope you're as excited as we are to explore this and everything we haven't shared yet next year.
Honestly, it looks beautiful, and I'm glad that this is working. Don't get me wrong. Like,
Unbelievability, we've always strived.
didn't they mention specifically that Nyx was too harsh or too inhospitable to colonize?
Anything we've done before.
But it's also super chill and just a random frontier, and there's a habitable planet. What? Like, what?
Up until now, our mission system has been specific to the star system you're in, meaning a Stanton mission has to take place in the Stanton system, and a Pyro mission has to take place there. We've never been able to link these together, but with the introduction of our third star system, it's time for this to change. And that begins with the introduction of interstellar cargo.
What are you talking about?
Ooh, fair enough.
System-to-system hauling missions. Hauling is back.
No one said hauling was gone. He doesn't even play the game?
These are exactly what they say on the tin. Missions.
I mean, kind of exactly, yeah.
And end in Nyx, taking various volumes of cargo between the stations. So there'll be high volumes of cargo that kind of fulfill the purpose for the Hull C and the other series of Hull ships. And there'll be a few sort of more direct routes.
So you might pick up some cargo from Ruin Station in Pyro and go through the jump point to Stanton and drop it off there at one of the Elios.
So if you've never sort of experienced the jump point or going through it, these missions will require you to.
I mean, that's cool. Also, I'm sure a Hull C, even in 1.0, is gonna,
They're no
like,
way limited. You can do them in any sort of ship you want, any size of ship. I'll be doing them in my Drake cutter myself, between Stanton and Nyx.
Fair enough, fair enough.
Just a Drake cutter.
I've got a few ships, but the Drake cutter is really cute, so.
Fair enough.
One thing that we're looking to add with these interstellar missions is scripted combat encounters where you can be attacked by NPC ships. Maybe the mission giver has
Scripted?
some pirates who
Okay.
are looking to get a hold of that cargo, as well as express missions, which means the deadline timers that you're used to in the regular hauling missions might get really tight, and you've got to learn to be very fast. All of the love and care that has gone into hauling missions so far with the
Okay.
logistical network and making sure they make sense within the
I mean,
themes
like, scripted combat missions?
just as much love has gone
Are we
into
just gonna forget that the whole Star Sim was supposed to be a thing? The whole quantum thing? Are we just saying fuck it to dynamicism? That's just not what this game's about anymore?
And why we want to keep as much of what we're doing behind closed doors, so you can discover it for yourself, in-game and on your own. We still are excited to share with you a brief look at one of our up-and-coming locations we're calling Rockcracker.
What? What did he say? Rock grind?
Okay, so Rock Cracker, Jared. is
Rock
our
cracker.
internal name.
Rock cracker is where you have
Yeah.
to crack a rock. It's a big rock. You want more?
So way out into the Kiga Belt, you'll find these old QV breaker stations.
I think Nyx has 2 asteroid belts.
These were
I'm not sure
original
if Keeger is
industrial facilities breaking apart large asteroids and mining them down.
assuming
Since
it's
they've
Nyx.
been mothballed and been left abandoned. So you're going to have to find your way inside and thinking about how do we bring this facility back to life. It's not just about flipping a switch. As you bring these stations back to life, you'll be lighting the beacon and calling attention to these long forgotten places.
So a mining focused raid sort of thing. That's cool.
One of the main features is the laser head, which will require certain things to get working. It's up to you and your friends to find how to get in.
There'll be a variety of options. Whether you're discovering the bowels of the station and mining your way through long forgotten tunnels, or you're going through the main laser entrance. Now, as you're traversing through the facility, you'll find the old engine room. Now, there may be ways to bring the facility back to life, kickstart the engines, and bring power to different parts of the facility. Maybe eventually bringing the laser back online and cracking some rocks.
If I don't have a
The second
genuine
you get
Kickstarter, I'll be
in
upset.
FPS combat, you're not there by yourself.
There may be squatters and outlaws in these stations trying to stop you from what you want to do.
I'm sorry, did we see a new weapon? Is that would appear to be a new weapon, I think. I mean, look, I'm a combat focused player, but God, why is everything combat?
So you've found these old facilities, you've brought them back to life. You've systematically brought power to various functions of the facility. You've
Also, this is
activated
the thing
the
coming
laser.
next year.
You've fired the laser. You've broken apart the rock. And then you'll be able to fly your ship inside and see what's there.
Inside? Okay. Alright.
So you fly a ship into an asteroid.
Yeah. You just get into your ship and fly in and start searching around and trying to find the pieces that you want to mine.
Yeah, okay. Interesting.
I'm really excited about Rock Cracker because it's a sandbox activity. You can kind of go to these whenever you want to.
This content is for players who enjoy mining, who enjoy exploration, investigation.
I really don't hate this.
And don't mind a little bit of FPS content while they're there.
Oh, there's also the space AK.
Very new experience.
I'm just
compared to
like-
any other asteroid, because this one,
Why-
kinda like Alan and mine, will.
There are
crack
people,
open
there are a
the
lot of
shades.
people, I think,
One
who
presumes
don't
you make
want to shoot anything.
An asteroid that's big enough, you fly your spaceship into it.
It wouldn't be worth doing if you couldn't make a good amount of coin. Yeah.
Making promises for the econ team.
Yeah. They've got to balance it.
It's for people who want a lot of minerals. When crafting comes in, when all the other mechanics and features that we want in the game for 1.0 come in, it will be a place where like an organization or a group of like 5-6 people could come and just get a monumental amount of minerals.
So that's a look at some of what's coming over the next 12 months. In addition to what we've shown, there'll be new mission packs tailored to the People's Alliance and their struggles. There'll be events that invest you into the evolving storyline of all 3 systems we'll have in the game. And of course, when we begin populating these with new planets, there'll be a whole host of ground-based POIs, settlements, and structures
inhabited by those trying to make their way in the verse. And all of this in service of building star systems that complement the massive corporate yard of Stanton, the lawless ganking of Pyro, and now the new frontier of
ganking of
discovery
Pyro.
for the Nyx system. Should I say ganking?
You already did.
Right? I was gonna say, you really should not have said that. But okay.
So yeah, a whole lot to take in there. Interstellar hauling is the beginning of a massive expansion to the mission system.
I really don't like.
Never before. What else we got? Rockcracker.
The thing, the real problem, I think.
That'll be coming to the Nyx system in the first half of next year, where you're gonna.
The real problem, I think, is that. God damn it. They retcon shit that they don't need to retcon. You don't have to have a habitable system. You don't have to have a habitable planet to have interesting factions there. Fucking Levski is on an asteroid. Why the fuck did these dumbasses build their thing in a random space station and not on a planet? It's harder to discover that station, whatever. But, like, what dumbass would decide to choose to live in space instead of on a fucking beautiful ass planet like that? Like, somebody who needs to hide away, and there are people who would do that, and it would make sense. Oh, also,
2 armor sets from that mysterious faction causing a ruckus with a Van Duel, and an Intersect BDU sweater and outfit, a couple of crazy weapons that I'm certain we're going to learn about in just a few minutes, some slick Levski swag, and finally, to celebrate the long-awaited addition of the Van Duel to Star Citizen, a cool Van Duel knife and adorable plushie, which I swear to love and squeeze and cherish forever. So yeah, it's a pretty solid haul for this year's digital goodies pack, which you can still pick up right now on the RSI store. So now, let's go ahead and transition into our next segment. Much of what you see in the show today has been the culmination of a lot of people's work in... What's up? All right, I had a dream about like this once. Yeah. Okay, so against everyone's judgment, the thing has finally happened. Can I help you?
How do you think the show's going?
Good. We're getting the Nyx star system and the Van Duel are coming.
Kind of been a lot of Nyx, right?
Well, yeah, but it's a major milestone.
Thank Christ somebody says it.
You got more, right?
Well, yeah, there's spaceships coming up.
Cool.
Wow, it's like they only scanned the original community portion of me. If pictures steal your soul, imagine what face scanning in PCAP does.
Well, this has been super cringe. So I'm gonna head out.
Nice.
Bye.
Oh, regular CitizenCon is still better. You should have done that.
Part of me that isn't a soulless marketing puppet.
Soulless marketing puppet, hell yeah.
No. Let's just go to some spaceships, shall we?
Hi, my name's John Crew. I'm the vehicle director here at CIG, and welcome to Talking Ship, where we're going to talk about 3 new ships coming to the persistent universe.
Alright, no silhouettes? Alright, get this! Okay, please, get this fucking... Please get this fucking new weird Drake thing out of the way, please, dear God.
The last year has been pretty hectic in terms of vehicle deliveries. I think we've delivered the most we've ever done in a 12-month period.
It's true, and it's fair.
All the way from tiny little snubs all the way up to capital ships.
We've kind of filled out a few little gaps. We've introduced some new ships by some old manufacturers.
We had the Polaris come out, and obviously people have enjoyed playing with that. We snuck the Idris in without none of you expecting it for a while, and it's been a busy year. It's nice to start revisit some of the older catalogue and some of the bigger ships again.
I think my favourite ship from the last year is a tie between the Wolf and the Golem.
Favourite ship in the last year?
Fair enough.
Probably the Wolf.
I feel like it's the obvious one. I'm trying to think of something else, but I really like the Wolf.
Everyone's mentioned the Wolf. The Wolf's everyone's favourite.
The Wolf, obviously a return of Kruger, a completely new aesthetic to the game.
The Wolf was, it was kind of everything we set it out to be, and it revived an old manufacturer. We've not seen anything from a while, so yeah, I'm going to say the Wolf.
The Golem, I think, is just an incredibly well-formed ship in such.
Bro, why are we talking about the old ships?
Shows off that Drake aesthetic, giving you the absolute bare minimum needed to perform a role.
I honestly do really like the Zeus. I think it came out really well. It's kind of hard to pin down a favorite, to be honest, because we've released, you know, a lot of really cool ships.
That wasn't last year.
This year we've got some super exciting ships coming up. We're ticking off a few big ones, which is good. We're gonna see again maybe some ships from some manufacturers that don't have that many in their lineup. There's a few big challenging ones starting, so they're good. A breadth of ships, should we say?
The 3 new ships we're going to introduce today all tie in some way to the primary factions fighting over the Nyx system. We'll
Okay.
start with the People's Alliance and Anvil Aerospace.
All right.
Anvil is a very military-based brand. It's been a brand that's in Star Citizen for a long time, fighting for lots of military contracts and lore, often up against Aegis, and to the point it actually beat Aegis in the past. You will be familiar with a lot of their ships' designs, such as the Hornet and Lightning. Earlier this year, we introduced the Anvil Asgard, based on the Valkyrie chassis, which is an extremely popular offering. And this year, we're bringing the concept ship we introduced last year, the Anvil Paladin, to life. The Paladin is a gunship from Anvil Aerospace, designed to support ground operations.
A gunship is a ship that's designed to sustain.
Are we talking about a concept ship now? That we've already had?
We don't have a lot of gunships in the game that are true dedicated gunships. They are quite a tricky archetype to control in game without being too powerful. It's designed with a lot of firepower and high armor and health, but very low maneuverability.
It's multi-crew. It's just built purely for battle. It's got lots of armor, lots of guns, big guns.
It's got a very similar squat kind of form to the Valkyrie. It kind of reminds me of, I guess, like a pit bull. Obviously a very menacing silhouette.
It looks quite forward-weighted in its stance. It feels like it's coming towards you even when it's just sat still, and I think that's something that helps with it feeling intimidating.
It looks like...
If we swing round, following the ship round clockwise, what you'll then see is the first of the side turrets. If the...
Again, this is just about a behind the ships in massive air quotes.
Exterior. That's because it has deployable armor, which can come out and give you a little bit more cover while you're actually attacking the target head on.
It's got these really nice kind of dual connected wings with the turrets out on the sides, just to try and give as much kind of range for those turrets as we can get.
Which is controlled by one of the 2 remote stations underneath the bridge. If we come around to the rear, you'll see a rail. Now that rail mounts the main turret of the ship, which is controlled by the co-pilot.
So you've got full 360 coverage underneath, full 360 coverage on top with it, and then the side turrets also have 360 coverage that way around and 180 out sideways. So really you have, between the turrets, pretty much 360 coverage in all directions.
If you have the full crew, then you're pretty set.
One of the
theoretically
things about the Paladin is all the turrets are remote and all the crew are located in this one central 2-story room.
A lot of our other gunships, the crew gets scattered across the ship, but with the Paladin, you're all sat together with a nice, cool experience, so you can really feel like you're playing as a group.
You've got the pilot, co-pilot up top, and you've got the gunners underneath, and I think that helps with the intention of what the ship does, because you've got this really nice kind of like gunner viewpoint down, kind of giving this lower coverage.
We added a glass floor just to keep the 2 connected. I think
Oh.
it really helps with the feeling.
I thought in the concept they were just... It was just one 2-story room thing.
Fully crew a Paladin, you can still fly it and engage in combat solo.
Obviously not as good as if you have a full crew, but you can't always guarantee your friends are going to be online.
That dude was shooting, the pip was totally off of the ship, and that ship just blew up. And his target just blew up. Like, what?
If you want to run this ship solo, you can take on combat missions that, say, other heavy fighters like the Scorpius or other ships such as the Drake Cutlass could do.
I think the Scorpius and the Drake Cutlass in the same boat? Okay.
You enter into this sort of
I guess it's
armory,
kind of
ready room
fair.
area. You have a
No, I guess those
variety
two
of
are
sealockers
pretty
and
fair,
weapon
actually.
racks in this room.
Everything's very militaristic, stripped back, simple. It's a very functional space, but you'll find everything you need in there.
One of the improvements from the original concept is we've added a small dedicated cargo bay area, allowing you to store actual SCU crates. Forward of that is the route to the lower
I like
levels.
that. That is cool, but damn.
Upstairs, you have the bridge area, and then off that central area you have the dual living quarters, one on the left, one on the right, and then at the rear you have the main sort of engineering area where the majority of the components are. Also within the upper traversal area, you also have a little breakout area with seating, food machine, toilets, etc.
I think it's a very cool looking ship. I think we did a really nice job of taking what was there in the concept and adding an extra level of detail and trying to kind of push things forward.
I think it hits the nail in terms of a really solid military ship. It's really complementary to some of the other ships in the Anvil lineup, so something like the Valkyrie, where you've got this big drop ship. You know, the Paladin's there just to make sure it's safe, make sure no one messes with you, and just basically scare people away.
The thing I like most, I think, about the Paladin is that it's very
Could have been an Inside Star Citizen.
and they all kind of work and operate.
Which is like, I don't want that to be a tagline, but I think unfortunately it's kind of turning into a tagline. Also, this armor's cool, and I think that's the armor that is in the goodies pack, just not that particular color.
It's really odd to me that you call that, you like that there's one toilet for 4 people.
Well, you know, it's you all work together. You're all equal at work. You're
The toilet seat never gets cold.
Toilet seat never gets cold. Yeah.
So that's the Anvil Paladin. Whilst
Okay.
originally a military-built craft, it's the perfect ship for folks on the frontier trying to defend against threats. And talking of threats, let's move to our next ship, a replica from Hesperia.
Okay. Oh, I guess the Stinger, right?
Manufacturer, they specialize in recreating exotic and particularly alien spacecraft.
Be cool to see them do exotic human ships, but yeah.
A little bit more suitable for kind of human flight. And the latest offering from Hesperia is the Vandal Stinger.
Of course.
The Vandal are big, scary space aliens. They're like 7-foot tall, evil war race that sort of take over, steal technology, absorb it, fuse it all together into their own needs.
They are the relatively nasty aliens that you sometimes hear about and haven't seen much of yet. They also make really cool spaceships.
Objectively.
Stinger as a Vandal heavy fighter was reserved for their higher tier sort of ace pilots or high-ranking members within their clans.
The Stinger is a competitor to something like the FA or I guess the Scorpius.
It packs a lot of firepower in quite a large frame, so it's a very, very tanky spacecraft. The firepower is almost unrivaled in terms of just both the number and the size of them. So it's
That sounds balanced.
They don't want agility. They don't want to be in and out quickly. They want to be there brawling with big guns and taking all the hits. One thing Hesperia have done differently with the Stinger is they have done away with the majority of the bespoke weapons.
They heard everyone's complaints about the glaive and blade and have stripped off the original Vandal weapons to allow customization for standard human weapons.
With the exception of the single size 5 gun.
Because it was too well integrated into the hull, even for Hesperia to remove.
All the additional weapons are generic mounts, so they can be swapped with any of the existing lineup that we have in the game.
Fair enough.
By doing this, provides greater flexibility to the end user, and this is something Hesperia wanted for the civilian market. For that one bespoke weapon, the size 5 plasma cannon, functionally it is the same as the existing size 5 plasma cannons on the Scythe and Glaive, but it is a sort of Gen 2 model and wraps it in a different aesthetic compared to those models. You'll see they're very much older Vandal styling. This is much newer Vandal styling.
Ooh,
Underneath
okay,
is
cool.
The same weapon that people have used for years.
I don't know if plasma is limited ammo or not.
PU was to take the Stinger from the squadron team and prepare it for life in the PU. We took an opportunity to take, you know, this really well-established art style and, you know, add extra details where needed.
So the exterior is a real blend of these kind of hard surface, kind of rare alloyed kind of wings, and then underneath this real kind of organic structure that kind of webs all of the ship together. You know, it connects the thrusters in, it connects all the kind of underside of the vehicle and pulls the whole ship together.
You can tell it's very different from the Vandal ships that are currently in the PU. If you take, for example, the way the cockpits are constructed.
Up at the front, we've got this big kind of bubble dome that gives the cockpit quite a unique shape compared to some of our other ships, and also gives the pilot a unique position within the ship and kind of gives great visibility out the front.
Boarding the Stinger is a little unusual compared to other ships, obviously being alien in nature.
You're going through a ramp at the rear, and at least you kind of straight up into the belly of the ship.
There's
That's not that weird.
Lots of organic detail, rib
It's
cages.
a little weird
kind
that
of
those
strange alien
struts
forms.
aren't like
through the cockpit, the seat kind of
like real struts, but whatever.
Climb over the back of it a bit like a motorbike.
You're basically riding into the cockpit. It feels very much like you're being like carried inside the cockpit.
Into the traditional prone flying pose that Vandal pilots use.
Interesting.
I'm very happy with this thing. I think the team have done a really good job of making something that feels different, it feels alien, but it suits our lineup of ships and it suits our universe.
I think the guys did a really good job of respecting the, the direction and vision from the original Stinger and Vandal ships and Squadron.
We've tried to take a lot of inspiration from movies and other science fiction material.
I like it.
It sits well within the
I'm not
Star
buying
Citizen
it, but
universe.
I like
We
it.
have the Paladin for the People's Alliance. We have the Stinger for people that really like Vandal and want to try.
Okay, it's got to be the Drake thing.
But what about the other mysterious faction we have running around?
So Gray Chowdhury got his start as he was working at a cargo center out in
Okay.
Britain. He started being able to get his hands on some stuff that other people couldn't, items that necessarily you couldn't find on a store shelf, but you wanted anyway.
I think Gray is interested in, happy customers. Gray just sees themselves as a conduit to get these things in the hands of people who are
Gray?
who appreciate them.
And I think that his latest offering is really going to turn some heads.
Okay. I'm excited.
So the Shiv, well,
Oh.
I don't really know what it is, if I'm to be fair.
It's what happens when someone who is a genius at aeronautics and ship assembly is given free rein to do whatever they want. It's the best of whatever they can find lying around.
Sorry, I'm just looking at this. I'm like, you know what? Nah, I really like this.
Arguably beautiful, and just released out into the universe to see what happens.
At first glance at the exterior of the Shiv, I think most
The Shiv,
people
okay.
will probably recognize there is more than a fair proportion of the Cutlass visible there, but
Yeah.
it's had quite a few changes to it.
As you look a little bit closer, you'll start to pick out elements from other ships. You've got, main thrusters that are from the Valkyrie.
Even the bits that are obviously a Cutlass have had panels welded on, panels removed.
Yeah.
The top turret, which is now remote, is just this hodgepodge amalgamation with multiple other ships' turrets. And then the changes continue onto the inside, where again, it sort of feels Cutlass-like, but then you'll find there's bits of Crusader ships just integrated into the wall instead of what was there originally.
Fun.
It's lost its side entrance, some of its cargo capacity, but what it's gained is it's gained visually more powerful thrusters. It's gained a really
More
kind of
thrusters as well.
Thrusters. It's upped its firepower.
As ever with the refined work from Gray's Market, you can see that great care was taken to the health and safety to ensure that there's no trip hazards anywhere.
There's like loose cables, panels are exposed. If you look carefully, you'll notice there are like tools laying around in the cockpit.
It's gained a toilet. Bucket.
Yeah, it's one for doing stuff, and then you need a second one to wash your hands. It's not an animal.
It has very much taken that
Wow.
ethos of Drake and moved it down a level, which I think is...
Yeah, I'm like...
How do you even begin to describe the madness that created this? It's the Shiv.
I really like this. I really like this. Also, it...
This is something new and different for Star Citizen. Where did it come from?
I'm not going to answer that.
Just nothing. Just
No comment.
Gray goes to places and talks to people. I mean, there are just many ways to find these things that, are they legitimate, manufacturers? No. Are they operating on the right side of the law? Maybe not, but, money's money.
Does Gray have a motto, an ethos to live by?
It probably comes down to, don't ask where I got it.
Don't ask how we got it.
Don't worry about it. Just ask if you want it.
I think the Shiv is for someone that is looking for something a bit different, a bit away from the norm, that just wants something that's unique.
It's definitely for people who like a rustic aesthetic.
It's a fun
ship, Rustic.
But it's also
Okay.
strong, to be honest, and it's absolutely a statement.
I'm happy with the 3 ship offerings. They are obviously very combat heavy.
There's something we wouldn't normally release all at once, but honestly, all of them are a different statement and they're all cool.
As always, super excited to release these ships into the game and just see how players react and play with them. It's always fun to see the quirks and the shenanigans that people get up to with them. So that's Talking Ship for another year. So,
Yeah, you can do the thing with Lexi. Talking weapons.
So I've just been informed that we have to do a bit of a timeshare agreement this year, so we have to throw it over to Alexi for Talking Weapons, which is an extremely original name.
Damn it.
I'm talking about the new edition that come out in October. The non-weapons are essentially the weapons that does not have a manufacturer, the weapons that you can think of that were made by space pirates.
Gray sells whatever he can sell.
Sometimes he gets his hands on
Oh.
some weapons that come from unknown origins.
He will sell things that no company in their right mind would ever make.
These are the most kind of like scrappy and taped together and the most kind of like pyro-ish weapons that you can think of.
Right now we're releasing 3 new weapons. Rocket launcher, the LMG, and the long-awaited Space AK.
Hell yeah.
I think this is the one that not only is the most in demand, but I've been politely badgered about the most. It's a fun rifle that basically fires energy and ballistic in sequence. So your first shot will be your ballistic, your second shot will be the energy. You'll see on the top of the art, there is a bolt that cycles the rounds, and that goes off with the ballistic shot, but it does not go off with the energy shot. And that is just like a really fun way of making a weapon work in kind of like a scrappy, glued together kind of aesthetic. The LMG, this thing is a really fun, slow-firing, hard-hitting beast.
It will bring the 50 cal, and the only other weapons that have this right now in the verse are the Bearing Sniper Rifle and the Coda.
Honestly, if you even get hit by one, you just instant tier 1 injury, back to medical.
Are you even trying anymore?
You know what? We made all these really complicated, fancy guns, and some people just want, I want a slow-firing rifle. Give me a scrap-together box that fires the biggest thing you can possibly find.
I like the look of it, but it seems like it really has a real high capacity for what it is.
Together that you pull into the tube and fire towards your enemies. The cool part about it will have an arming distance, so you will not be able to just point it towards an enemy.
It's also going to have a lot of spread. So essentially, you're going to have to get very close with your launcher to be able to blow up ships with a single payload in it. You can't actually aim with the apparatus, because you've got the tube on your shoulder, and you try to aim it, you'd have to physically put the tube in your head. So we were like, oh.
Do you understand how sights work?
It's in the spirit of being a tube that you can't use the aiming apparatus, and you just kind of like, all right, I think that's the middle of the screen, I'm going to hit it.
It's in the spirit of being a tube.
That's not how that. What? Rocket launch. Okay, you know what? Never mind. I don't care. It's not worth it.
I think it will be really convenient to use something.
Also binoculars. Hey, that's cool.
To look for the things, especially far away, instead of using your sniper scope, for example.
Will the binoculars have glint?
I'm not aware of this one. Probably not, because binoculars are not something that you need to be aware of.
It's really funny because obviously, due to Glintgate, as I beautifully internally call it, basically there was a lot of community feedback basically saying like, oh, I really like spotting people. I really like playing a spotter. And essentially I was like, oh, this community wants to be able to spot people from distances. And what can we make gadget-wise that doesn't require new features? And it was like, binoculars. And I prototyped a thing which essentially was just a scope in a hand and it worked. So we've got some really cool binoculars coming that allow you to spot people from distances.
And how much damage do the binoculars do?
Depends on how you throw them.
Thanks, Alexei and Zach. That's the end of this segment for this year. So that's talking ship and weapons.
Where the
Unless
fuck is the Drake thing?
Tell me something else. It's been an exciting year, and I think the next year of ships is going to be even more exciting and expansive than this year.
What about the silhouettes? What? Okay, that is a little disappointing. I do like the gray shiv. I do like how we have like a proper illegal manufacturer. The illegal manufacturer does not have to look like a piece of shit necessarily, but
And they're all
yeah, I mean, I guess as the part of the digital goodies pack, I'm gonna have the space AK and that gun and that LMG, so we'll see. I assume that they're probably gonna get added maybe in 4.4, maybe not 4.3.2, but I hope it's 4.3.2, but probably not. I don't know about the armor. I'll have to look back at it, but yeah.
There's some Levski metal posters on the store, and of course, love them or hate them, but you can't avoid them. There's this cool new Wickelow's Emporium t-shirt. Yeah. There's also a page published earlier today with a bunch of links to offerings from our third-party partners, from eye trackers to gaming chairs to voice packs to spaceship models from new partners like Planet Ring and Pigeon Spaceport and more. You can find all of that on the RSI website as well.
What happened to Jared
What
EF?
else can I shill? Oh, for those of you who are at watch parties, where is it? Challenge coins. Who doesn't love challenge coins? There's these lovely Levski themed challenge coins if you're attending one of the 9 official watch parties around the world. There's also a digital one of these in the goodies pack, so you check those out. Don't leave today without
Trying to decide. I mean, like, I really was curious about the Drake thing, and those silhouettes are just. I mean, like, maybe they just didn't work out.
Find out some more about where we are. Simon, can we move? Can we do? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Pardon me. Excuse me.
That's an interesting seating arrangement.
That was my best angle. Hey, I gotta be careful. Last year I took 3 steps and tore a muscle. All right, so this.
Yes, be careful. Just show your ass.
CIG Manchester's
Truly.
Manchester office. That's This is the room where we have lunch every day, and if you get here early enough, croissants. If the weapons team hasn't stolen all of them. Over here, we got some cool mannequins representing different aspects of the game. You got the ever-present, Hurston security armor over here. That's really cool. You got your Duster
That is nice.
armor right here. You got this guy from a game that we're not talking about today. Marine armor. Yeah, it's all pretty cool.
Marine armor. Yeah, marine armor, yeah, bro.
Sim pits over there for people who need to test that kind of stuff. We got this cool Krigeri Bengal carrier. Come over here, shoot it. Go down the nose here. Watch this. Very cool. I'm gonna go over here.
Oh my god.
You see me? Hi, Mom. All right. So yeah, and what are you doing, Richard Towler?
Oh man.
What else we got? We got cool Voyager.
Sorry,
bar
that's.
here. This is where we get
I
all
don't.
kinds of breakfast goodies.
I don't know. I don't have too much else to say besides. It doesn't look like the Stinger has like.
Pondered the question: do devs deserve coffee? I do. You want to see what next year's big controversy is? Check this out. I'm gonna come over
Oh
here.
my god.
Do devs deserve coffee? Welcome to the Stargarita machine.
Oh, the Mixmaster? Give me the damn Mixmaster, Jared!
Do devs
You
deserve,
specifically!
Frozen deliciousness? I don't know. Go to Reddit and let us know. All right, let's see. Let's go over here. Competition. Oh, competition winners. We have the list of competition winners. Can we put that on the screen? Yeah, sorry, competition winners. Remember the competition?
Wiggle that finger, good lord.
CitizenCon winners, the people made the videos, and we gave them a Kruger L21 Wolf. we actually have the names. They're behind me. Look. Oh. All right, that's cool. Also, everybody's got food. Do I have food here? Oh, somebody's supposed to save me pizza. All right, so we got, oh, you guys saved me a lot of pizza. Let's see, there's like 3 different kinds of pizza here.
Oh, wow.
What if we just combine them into like a challenger situation here?
What? Okay. It seems like the Stinger probably doesn't have an interior. I'm a little sad that the Paladin wasn't
Segue into our next segment.
the thing.
Gemma, can we? Gemma, are you there?
Yes, Jared.
Can we fire up the FPS crafting segment while I try to chew this off camera?
We sure can. Roll, BT.
Okay, crafting. Oh, and the Shiv. The Shiv, I'm super excited for Gray as a concept in general.
Star Citizen, at its heart, will always be an enormous sandbox experience.
I hope we have an illegal manufacturer that does look a little bit more upkeep, or a little bit more put together.
Parts of the universe here and there to better suit
But,
our needs.
yeah.
That goes for both you and us. Let's start this part of the show with a look at how crafting is going to change everything from resource gathering, refining, and even combat when it comes online in the next few months.
In the next few... What?
The first version of crafting is...
Bull fucking shit, what?
In scale, we're going to use it as a kind of a concentrated effort to allow the players to experience the initial UI, the flow of gathering materials that have different quality, and using those to craft items which are better than what they have currently in the game.
The first version is going to be primarily FPS items that you can craft, weapons and armor.
Okay.
For Star Citizen, crafting is our primary progression mechanic. Star Citizen isn't your standard MMO. We don't have levels. We have ships, we have gear, we have things that you create in the world, you perfect, you research, you improve, and those items, those ships, those vehicles, the armor and weapons, that's how you progress in Star Citizen. Crafting isn't just a progression mechanic for creating new items, it's also a fundamental change to how we handle resources in the game. The materials that you collect, how you refine them, quality matters.
Crafting the weapons, you'll be able to have some quality materials to influence the item stats on those weapons.
It'll be somewhat random, potentially weighted on the location of the material. Some will have a higher chance of higher quality. And once you take those materials to your crafting bench, the fabricator, you can use them to craft, and the different attributes...
Teasing the taser, of course.
Based on the quality of the materials you use. It's not just iron ore anymore, it's iron ore of the quality that you know will get you the stats for the item that you desire. And it's not just mining, it's essentially every resource.
I don't even see a quality thing on
To
here.
support this, we also need major changes
Huh.
to inventory so that all of these new resources that you're collecting, you can see what you have.
Oh my god, it's in-game!
Understand what you have in your inventory.
We won't have the new refining crafting system yet. We'll be using the existing ones. Those will pass the quality through into the refined materials, which you can then take to your crafting machine and start making your personal items. Once you have your blueprint and your quality
Okay.
materials that you've refined, then you can put them together on the item fabricator. This will be pretty much what we showed in last year's CitizenCon, with the UI letting you assign your quality resources to different aspects of the item. Once you're happy with what you see on the preview, you'll be able to click to craft, and it'll get queued up, and your result will be produced sometime later.
Okay.
You'll be able to get the new crafting machine from shops in most landing zones. You'll be able to bring it up on your freight elevator and use it in your personal hangar, or tractor beam it around and stick it on a ship if you want to use it from there.
Hell yeah. The reason I'm like bullshit is because
get credited to
this
your account
needs.
to test and mess around, but the vast majority of them will be earned through missions, and then you can use that blueprint to craft the item that it is that you've got the blueprint for. So it should be a good reason to go and test all the different various missions in the game.
The advantage of crafting your own items is that they'll be better than anything that you could buy from shops. You'll be able to increase and improve item stats that are relevant to your gameplay. Maybe your gun will shoot faster, maybe it'll do some more damage, or your armor will have greater resistances against environmental effects or incoming fire. You might be wondering, what about the upgrade and research? That will be coming in a subsequent release.
As I
Happy with
expected.
this initial scope for crafting.
It's going to be so valuable for us as devs to kind of get the metrics in, get the feedback in. Because
Yeah, got to start
big
small.
changes that, you know,
Especially with a
they
crazy
only become
system like this.
Obvious, so to speak.
The reason I say
when you
bullshit is
have
because what about the tech previews?
amounts of users.
Like, is it going to be in tech preview in the next few months? Because then I could understand that. But
out on tech preview by the end of the year.
okay,
We get the
all
testing we
right,
need
cool.
So we can
All right,
release it when it's ready.
I rescind my bullshit. That's fine.
That's one way you'll be crafting your own experiences in the Star Citizen universe. But what about us? Where do we get to hone in and craft a bespoke experience here and there, specifically tailored to individual or small group play? Well, that's where instancing comes in. And I'm going to let Benji...
That was a
tell you little
transition. For one thing, okay, hell yeah,
We're
but
bringing instancing to Star Citizen in 2026. Why are we doing it, and how will it work? So if you've played any content in 2025 in Star Citizen, you know that most of these areas were in actual PvP zones where other players could interfere. Instancing is a means to create an environment where designers can create tailored content that's tuned to a specific group size, but it is also protected from outside interference. It's not to say that we don't love PvP. I'm a PvP guy. PvP me, bro.
my god.
But like most MMOs, a good balance between a dangerous overworld and a protected instances is needed. Right now, we don't have this ability, and this is something we really need in order to give you a sense of progression that is tailored and balanced to a tunable amount of groups, so the difficulty matches the group size. There's a beginning and an end. It doesn't mean that that doesn't fit in our overworld strategy, meaning getting to the instance is dangerous, exiting the instance is dangerous, or can be interfered with others. But
Okay.
at least when you're playing the content, we can actually make something that's curated for one experience. So before anybody says this is only a PvE thing, this technology can also be applied to unlock curated PvP experiences that are as seamless as the PvE ones. So it's not about one thing or the other. It's
True,
really about
I guess.
unlocking developers' ability to create curated content. So
Eh.
that said, how will it work? Instancing is really an evolution over static to dynamic meshing. We want your instances to be as seamless as your instance hangers, meaning that when you take an elevator, you exit the elevator, you're inside the instance. A gateway opens, you cross that gateway, you're now into your instances. Could be also a quantum jump into an instance that you don't even see. The transition is just like a dynamic mesh transition. And so throughout the universe, we will be able to add these areas that are open or closed instances that allow you to join in either with a party and have a reserved instance for your party, or join in open instances that has a number of slots. And so some of those areas will be completely instanced on different servers. This allows us to leverage the compute power of the entire mesh. The closed ones will be really to drive one piece of content. You enter and exit seamlessly, just like we do with your instance hangers currently. Let's go and find out what one of our first instances will be.
Ooh, okay.
Siege of Arzen was an event we did previously, which created a gameplay scenario where the player had to run through and progress through contested islands of Arzen. This was a high-paced, high-intensity event, but it struggled a little bit from its technical execution. But now with the introduction of instancing, it gives us an opportunity to evolve it and modify it and make it better for you in a small group to work through that activity.
It is an event that I had the honor of pretty much solely designing and building all of the logic and having the stress of trying to get it working.
Agent Dooley from the CDF
puts the call out for volunteers because basically the Nine Tails have taken over sort of a cluster of floating platforms in Orison.
And you are there to kill these sort of lieutenants of this terrorist organization and take back control. So in our current thinking, Siege of Orison is designed for about 15 to 20 people fire team. So you, your friends, or your org will go in, you'll all have sort of dedicated roles. Some of you might be the tank who brings in the heavy weapons and sort of pulls the fire. Some of you might sit at the back and be the sniper and pick people off who are a bit further to make the advance easier. Some of you will be the medic whose sole job is going to be revive and look after the rest of your team and the health of them. And some of you will be the people who push for the objectives to try and get sort of most of the mission done. The event was designed for about 15 to 30 people, but when we released it, we fixed the problem with 2 DGSs on one server that was fighting for resources. And with that, we also upped the player count to 100. So when it first debuted, it was already too full for what it was designed for.
It was a massive operation at the time. I think that bringing it back and giving it a refresher will be a fantastic addition.
That'd be exciting. I tried it out once. It was broken. It was like broken.
That you could go in and play solo. Or if it was a public event that you could go with your friends, or you could join up with random players on the server. There's lots of ways.
Oh, that machine gun's recoil operated? Oh, that's fun.
Make it a
Actually, that's
more
really fun.
approachable piece of content.
I'm excited, to say the least, to bring back Siege of Orison to Star Citizen and to sort of have it be one of the first tests that we have for instancing and really get it back to sort of a core experience point where it should be. So while the next season is quite heavily focused on Nyx, I'm also very happy that we're not really ignoring our other 2 systems of Stanton and Pyro, and we're going back there and we're sort of improving and expanding on the player's life in those 2 systems.
Are you though, or is it just this one thing? It remains to be seen. I just gotta be honest.
And while things like Genesis, interstellar hauling, crafting, Siege of Orison, and more will reveal next year, will continue to bring life into the existing universe outside of Nyx. There's still one more exciting use for instancing we're building right now. It's an earlier look than normal, and some of it is still in white box, but we're excited to share the first look at a major content release of 2026, and what it means
Area 18 Underground?
progression-based gameplay. As an evolution of our Building Interior initiative, you won't discover it by accident, because when it's complete, it will be found deep within the heart of Levski itself. This is the Municipal Works.
What? But you move the Municipal Works to Levski?
So inside the facility, you'll find huge vaporization chambers.
I mean, it doesn't matter, and they can port it over to every landing zone if they want.
Industrial tunnels.
But...
And eventually
what?
into the old turbines, which are still pumping heat into the old rock.
So this is the true history of Levski. This is a place where you won't see in Lorville, you won't see in I-18 or the other landing zone. It's the pure basis of Levski. You will have, of course, metal and tunnels.
I'm sorry, did he specifically say you won't see this in Area 18? Okay.
See a lot of rock and cave. So it's not a place you go to take vacation. It's really a place you go to fix stuff.
Not everybody has what it takes to come down there and do the job that needs to be done.
All of your sewage systems have stopped working. Everything's going to quite literally. And so the player is tasked with their group, most likely, to go into there, take out the outlaws, and get the facility working again.
So let me get this straight. This is literally a mission to fix the toilets of Levski.
It's not just the toilets. You're also trying to turn on the air. Air is a bit more important. It still works in Levski, but you know, they have like maybe polluted air because it's not being cleared properly. It's not just for the toilet.
Boot mission.
It's also a little bit more exciting than just going into like some vents. It's like a free layered system where there's 3 chapters.
This will be mission driven and repeatable. Everything from mining to salvage
Okay.
to combat to investigation, a variety of roles. Narratively, it's a real sandbox. Every progression you do will unlock a new area that will link back to previous areas, complexifying the play space.
We've been wanting to have more gameplay around landing zones for a long time. Now that we have instancing tech coming online, that allows us to do something that provides really cool gameplay close to a landing zone.
With the missions, that's what will create different overlays or changes.
So what the hell do they mean the building the interiors
Instancing,
initiative? Because like, yeah, I mean, that was a thing that they were talking about, but it's like, oh, this is evolved, or this is changed, not evolved. This is changed from being interior building stuff to this thing, to this other thing, to now this new thing.
Back to it at different states, depending on how much you've progressed, and be able to keep it going until you've reached sort of the end of the whole 3 chapters.
Where you're not going to have other people getting in your way. It's you, your team, your party.
It's a way of giving players content where they know exactly where they're at and they can keep going back to it and improving sort of their own progress and ability to jump through them in faster and faster times as well.
So
Municipal Works time trials,
allow
baby.
Players and developers alike to create more crafted experiences within the greater sandbox of the persistent universe. Okay, is that it for me at this point, Jared?
Almost. Throw it back to me, and I've got one more for you after this.
Back to you, Jared.
I mean, that's good that they're getting it in, but like, come on.
Everybody's really excited about the year ahead. So that's a brief look at some of the ways in which we're allowing you and our developers to craft a more curated Star Citizen experience. Now, at this point in the show, we are in the home stretch. We've got only one more segment to go.
One more second of content.
We wanted to check out, we said earlier in the show that we would look at what you were saying during the show. We looked at how to put YouTube comments on the stream, and it was immediately apparent that we were going to lose our broadcast license, so we're not going to do that. We did find some social media stuff on Twitch, though, or not Twitter, X. What is it called now? Let's see what this says. Let's see. We've got Welcome Back Levski from, I'm not wearing my glasses. Oh, no. Oh, time to suit up. Let's go get them, says Ubu. I really should have worn my glasses. Cue the bagpipes. That's the other game, Charlie Oscar. Let's see. Nice to see you live, Jared. Mom? Let's see. First CitizenCon after playing for almost a decade in Austin. Oh, nice. Straight out of Klesher, back to the Hex. Photos from Leicestershire. How do you say it? Is that Leicestershire? Lester? Jeez, I've only been.
So like, I don't know. I mean, overall, I'm a little bit.
Citizen Watch Party. Oh, somebody created a lovely Vandal mask there.
There are some things that I'm like, I really.
Casey, can we get that in game?
God damn.
Exactly.
I don't even know,
Put
dude.
that in game. All right, so that's a few reactions we're seeing on social media right now. Before we get to our big finale, or the thing we're going to wrap up the show with today, I did want to talk a little bit about big CitizenCon versus digital CitizenCon versus what we're doing today, which is CitizenCon Direct. Every year, CitizenCon is a monumental task for any number of people, whether that's development, marketing, the support teams, the platform teams. Everybody comes together to make this thing happen and go off, hopefully without a hitch. And so far, we've been doing all right, other than some stuff in the room here. You know who you are.
I think I saw the video lag out a little bit, but like, actually, I think there have not been any.
For our developers, you might not assume this, but most game developers are not social butterflies. They tend to like to sit quietly in the dark at their computers, like little goblins, and just make digital virtual worlds like this. And then I come in all happy and like, hey, you want to be on video? And they're like, no. And I'm like, it's in your contract. And they're like, oh, yeah. So we thought, we usually do it behind the scenes afterwards, but we thought we'd do a little bit of it here. The folks in the editorial department put together a brief montage of some of the more candid moments from the filming of CitizenCon over the last couple weeks. So we're going to spend 2 minutes and take a look at that. Let's see what they put together.
Okay.
How many CitizenCons have you performed in now?
Performed? Just the one.
Nope, my first one.
One last year.
2.
A few.
8 or 9?
Maybe 9 or 10?
Never.
Man, I don't know, man.
Did you like doing it?
Yes, I was completely terrified.
It was good. A bit stressful.
The first live one
I was a mess.
Weird combination of going from insane highs to insane lows.
Live ones.
Because?
It's over.
The live ones are pretty special.
Pre-tap's always fun, but the live events are special, aren't they?
Remember we were at that weird crack house in Anco's?
Right.
I like the live ones. Oh, I mean, I love these digital ones. These are the best.
Every time I've done it, it has been a digital one, and I'd like to do one on stage.
Is it because you have a restraining order against you, or?
Didn't know if I was going to be sick, if I was going to lose my stomach.
How hard is it to keep your eyes open on stage?
That's not a problem with the lights. They're kind of, I'm realizing through this sentence that I'm closing my eyes as I speak. Do I do that a lot?
I am a very shy individual, so this is me just trying to get out of my shell.
Getting the crowd to react to the ideas that we've been working on for so long.
We can react. Watch. Everybody. Yay!
I can feel your passion from here.
Cut the camera. Counting you down in like 30 seconds. I'm like, do I stand up? Do I sit down? Do I drink? Do I not? Do I talk?
This will be the best one yet. That's right. Because it's nice and short.
Is this all supposed to be usable content? Because I could be different.
No. Of all your nicknames, why is Moist Master your favorite?
I think you mean least favorite, and because it has the word moist in it. I mean, come on.
We'll give you a new nickname by the end of this.
Sounds good. Could do
All
with
right.
one.
Let's get started.
Oh my god. Nope, it's Moist Master. It's always gonna be Moist Master, baby.
You're like, why are we showing that? I put that in there because I'm eternally grateful for all of the CIG staff and developers who take the time to appear on these things, whether it's
And I like it. I mean, there is an element of the element of
it's not the easiest thing for everybody, and on behalf of the community, if I can speak for them in this,
being so excited about the game, you forget about the people making the game and etc. etc.
each and every year that we have them. Now, let's wrap things up here. So, let's see, how do I want to do this? At this point, we've only got one major story left to tell. But before we do that, we wanted to do one more check-in on something we started last year. Last year, Rich Tyler took the stage and presented his roadmap to 1.0. And we didn't want to go an entire year without talking to the senior game director himself to get his update on that 1 year later. So we're going to throw it to him, and we're going to go to our last segment, and when we come back, we'll say our goodbyes. And if you're at a watch party, it's time to get... I was going to say... that's not a word I can say on the camera. Let's just go. Let's just throw it back to me. Go to me from 1 week ago.
Get lampposted? Is that what you're trying to say? Wasted. But you could just say lampposted.
Last year,
that probably works well enough.
took to the stage and revealed our plan for 1.0. Now, before we end this year's CitizenCon Direct, we wanted to take a few moments and follow up on that reveal from last year, to do as we've done today and look at the year ahead. So, Rich, thanks for taking the time to join us.
Well, you're welcome.
All right, so we're going to jump right into it. Everybody knows the only constant in game development is change. So I'm going to ask you outright, what's changed about the road to 1.0?
Well, fortunately nothing. It still remains our North Star. The team is busy working towards that goal in the background, and every patch this year has moved us towards that goal. And if you haven't watched the Star Citizen 1.0 presentation from last year, I highly recommend you do so, because everything in it is still relevant as of today.
You mentioned every patch this year has moved us towards that goal, so I want to dig deeper into that. We've done, at this point, 9 releases in this year, more than any year prior. How does each one of these not just sit as their own moment in time, but move us forward on this road to 1.0?
Well, last year I discussed the framework of 1.0, how all those complex systems can tie together. And one of the core aspects of that was the main story, which became the spine of the universe, which brought all of the locations, mission givers, guilds, and all the different areas of the game to the players. Now, what I didn't talk about from last year was all of the content that was going to support that framework, add the flesh to the bones, should we say. And I think that's where this year has moved us towards that goal. If you think about previous events of previous years, they've generally been locations that we've put into the verse, but they've been transient. We've taken them away, like Siege of Orison or Zenithreat. We've added them to game, and then they've been moved away. And I think with the addition of the patches this year, when you look at the Hathor facilities, Onyx facility, these are permanent additions to the world that not only have their own story as when we release them
Excuse
as
me.
patches, but they'll also become points of interest and areas that the larger 1.0 narrative will utilize.
Since we're on story, I'm gonna stay with this here. Since we launched the PU back in 2015, it's always been this sandbox where players can do what they want. They can bring their own story to the verse, and that'll never change. But how important is it that we also build this concurrent narrative of our own, this crafted experience, if you will, alongside that?
Well, we're trying to create a living, breathing universe. And that includes both the player stories that you mentioned, that they can go and enjoy and create their own memories together. But it also means that we want to have a universe that gives back. We want areas and locations to feel like they're believable and real life locations. And if you look throughout this year and the patches that we've worked towards, we've had an overarching story that's moved from patch to patch, and we're going through some of those cycles right now. We've also been introducing mission content that has fully voiced dialogue and facial animation, which allows us to inject some of the meaning and the why to what you are doing as a player. And I think story is integral to Star Citizen as a connective tissue that ties all of these different complex systems together, because it takes players on that journey throughout the game.
To see this big turn.
I guess I agree, but like,
injecting story into the verse, I think people are really responding to it. So everybody
I don't know.
knows, and you mentioned just now that this year we changed a whole lot about how we operate and how we release things. How do you think that's gone?
I think it's gone very well. I think if the mantra that I've always been pushing this year right at the beginning of January was patch always goes. And I think this year has seen a different development strategy for how we've been moving the game forward. That's where this different strategy has allowed us to really take a wider approach. And we also have to remember that Star Citizen is played by tens of thousands of players every day. And while we have lofty future goals, we still have to make decisions right now that make the game fun for the people that are playing it all the time, playing it as their daily game. If you look at previous years, we've had to hold a patch back, we've had to make concessions, mainly due to around a feature may not have been ready or right to go into there.
There were 3 months, 4 months.
So like freight elevators?
Exactly. And
I'm just like,
I don't think it's good for the players. I don't think it's good for the development team. I think it's better to have regular cadence of drops. One good example is this year for A Line of Mine. People probably don't know, but A Line of Mine, when you turned on the laser, it was actually supposed to reveal the sandworm Valakar. And I played it, and it didn't hit the quality that I wanted to go into the game. So we changed, and I took it out, and I made that decision alongside Chris and Erin, and we've held that back, and we're going to work on that towards a future patch. But I think definitely the more regular
okay,
has had the multiple benefits, and like I said, I wanted to.
I was wondering where the Valakar went and why we got an irradiated version of it before the regular one.
From radar and scanning, FPS, the new quantum, to inventory, engineering, and crafting, and all of those features are going to be coming very, very soon for players to get their hands on. And, you know, I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to sit here and say that if I was to go back to the start of the year, I would hope that we would have released more features. But I also think every decision we've made this year has been through the lens of making the live experience as stable and as good as possible.
Absolutely. All right, so that's a bit about the year before. And the year before has been, I've said this before, I've said it internally, I've said it out there, I'm gonna say it right now again on camera. I think this has been the best year of Star Citizen ever. And I'm willing to look right into the camera and say that.
Okay.
Player numbers are up, engagement numbers are up, the length of the play sessions are up, bug numbers are down, 30K is gone. It's been a solid year. But
no, 30Ks are not.
Without talking about the future, so I want to move.
Do you know how many fucking times?
We talked about story.
Oh my
we
god.
about this more
I've had fucking blue screens. I've had crashes to desktop. Those were earlier in the year, but they were still in the year. I've had so many server errors, which aren't 30Ks necessarily, but like
I think the biggest thing is to start having that conversation be two-way. So if you think about this year, like you mentioned, we've been having fully voiced NPCs, but a lot of those missions and those NPCs, they're talking to you, they're talking at you.
Right.
You don't get to talk back to them. Now, obviously, you get to interact with them through your actions. You get to go and do their mission, and you get to move that along, and then they talk to you again. But it's a one-way conversation.
We're missing that conversation wheel.
Exactly. The next part would be physical mission givers. That's something that we're going to be working towards very soon, with Battaglia being the first one coming back in the verse. And just to be clear, we will be bringing all the mission givers eventually back, and we want them to be an integral part of the verse and the story that players go and
Okay.
enjoy. We want the locations to be brought to life, and as we mentioned last year, we want to have interactive scenes that you can go and be part of. And obviously the full end goal is towards, to have cinematic stories in the game, and that is what we're going to be pushing towards. Everything we do, every decision we make is through the lens of moving us closer to 1.0. It might sometimes be difficult to see why those decisions have been made at the time they've been made, but rest assured that Star Citizen 1.0 is still our North Star. That's what we're still aiming towards, and that's what we're going to be moving forward with every patch next year as well.
And remembering when mission givers were first introduced, they sometimes became a bottleneck. Is there a role in instancing, which we learned about earlier today? Is there a role for instancing in that, in helping with mission givers?
Yes, partially. It will be one mechanism that will allow us to have players.
Of course.
go
I
to
mean,
their
I feel like that was kind of
own
obvious.
verse.
If you want to have cinematic scenes, yeah, you probably have to have them instanced, or like,
into the open world environment.
I mean, otherwise you have like somebody having full-on combat when you're supposed to having this casual, chilled conversation or meeting with somebody.
And provide a more seamless experience.
Happy you said that, because that's one of our last topics I want to get to, is how we reconcile instancing with the persistent universe. Like, for the last 10 years now, we've been building this giant, seamless, persistent universe where everybody can come in and play together. And it would be easy to have a first instinct reaction to the idea of instancing and say that's antithetical to everything that Star Citizen. But you mentioned last year these 3 pillars of building Star Citizen in the PU, and I want to know, you said nothing changed, but I want to ask you about this specifically. What are those 3 pillars again, and how does instancing fit within the greater design of Star Citizen?
So the 3 pillars I mentioned last year were open world. That's just like the missions you love today. You can go and play, there's other players there, and you can go and enjoy that together. Then we have instancing, which I'll talk a bit about more, but similar to municipal works that we've talked about previously. And then the 3rd pillar was dynamic content, which would be content that's generated by the activities of the players. And I think it's very easy to become myopic around one specific thing when we're talking about it a lot, when it's the next stage of our development. And I think you could reverse it. If we'd have made a game that was all instance, and then I'd come on camera and said, hey guys, we're going to start doing it open world, it would be like, oh, is the game changing? Are we doing open world now? Is open world the new North Star that's going to take us this way? And it's not. It's just one more tool that's going to allow us to offer different and dynamic experiences for players to go and engage in. Now, when I talk about instancing isn't always what you'd imagine as a solo instance experience where it's only just you. We're going to have several different versions of instances. Some are going to be closed instances, which will be like the new player experience. Will be able for you to go in by yourself.
Yeah, that's pretty fair. That's pretty legit.
In a safe environment so that you can understand how to play the complex game that we've made. But we'll also have open instances like a cantina or a bar where we might say, hey, we only want 50 people to come in here because we've got mission givers and we've got other NPCs for you to talk to, and you would just walk in and it would be seamless. You wouldn't know that there was an instance, you're not going to get a loading screen, you would just seamlessly walk into that location, it would be full of other players and NPCs, and you can go and enjoy the content. And that's, I think, something that instancing is going to provide us. It's going to give us a tool to offer different dynamic content, or curated content, as I'd say. It allows us to create experiences that are different to the open world experiences that we've already made. And it's not to say that we won't continue our open world development or only do instance content. It's going to be a mix. And like I said, this is one of the pillars that will move us towards 1.0. We will eventually work on dynamic content that will move us towards 1.0. And all three of those pillars will interweave to create the full Star Citizen experience.
All right, so we've hit a lot of the bigger topics, the feature work, engineering, and FPS crafting coming to tech preview soon, stuff like this. We've talked about instancing and how that's going to work within the universe. But I want to ask you this one last big one. It's very easy to say Star Citizen is this kind of game and that kind of game. Those of us who spend our days making it know better. It's an everything game. It's everything we can make it game. It just is. But at the core of this is still spaceships. That life of spaceships.
Okay.
What more can you tell us about spaceship gameplay in the future? What can you give us? What can you tee up for us to look forward to for those of us who are really into Star Citizen for the spaceships?
Our intentions going forward are to make sure that every ship or ship archetype that you acquire has a role and has content that you can go and enjoy in the universe. For example, right now I know that we're working on more robust mining missions, more robust salvage missions. We're going to be working on refueling missions.
More robust mining missions, you say?
Make sure that each and every one of the ship has a purpose and has a reason to exist in the game. That's from the smallest Argo MPUV, as well as ground vehicles, all the way up to the large capital ships. We want to give them purpose, and I think it's something that we are absolutely aware of. We want to make sure that we're building that spectrum of content to allow players to go and engage in, and I think 2026 is going to be a very good year for Star Citizen, and I think there's going to be something that's very interesting and something that a lot of people have been waiting for, but rather than me spoil it, I'll let Ian and the team go into the details on that.
Get a twinkle in his eye. Ian, take it away.
Okay. So they haven't talked about base building, which is probably fine. Oh, probably talking about hangars and custom hangars?
So the persistent universe has existed for over 10 years now. During that time, we've created lots of gameplay systems, we've added hundreds of locations, we've added lots of mission activities for different purposes: combat, cargo, mining, salvaging. But for combat ships, the only thing you've been able to do is fight other combat ships. In 2026, this changes. We're going to be delivering a spaceship-focused activity space which incentivizes the use of different gameplay roles. These are going to be scenarios where you're going to have to plan and strategize and create operational tactics to overcome your objective. So what you're going to see is very early. It's early in the pipeline process, and it's going to come online about mid next year. But we're really excited about the content we're creating, so we want to share with you a super early look at what we're building in a space we're calling Tactical Strike Groups.
The way they've balanced the audio, I barely heard. Tactical Strike Groups? Okay. Alright.
The People's Alliance are still trying to get to the bottom of what this new faction is really doing in the Nyx system.
They've sent a capital ship to check out a station and run into more than they can take care of themselves.
Unfortunately, that team came under attack and members of their groups were taken hostage. Now they've reached out to Intersec, who've reached out to you to help recover the pilot. Of course, it's unwise to do this alone, so you'll need to put a team together to attack the station.
Okay.
When you arrive, you will have this big asteroid, kind of broken asteroid, and on this you will have this space where you will find 3 big arms. You will see at the middle, you will have this big energy core. Everything here has a purpose. It's not just for the show, just something nice to see.
You'll see a People's Alliance-owned Idris that's just on the outside, and it's going to be getting harassed by this unknown faction that you have met before.
So your first objective here is to clear out the ships. There'll be waves of these ships, so this is where you want your light or your medium or your heavy fighters, whichever playstyle you prefer.
So while one part of your group is dealing with the fighters, now it's time to actually assault the station.
This station has been outfitted to resist all of the obvious way of attacks.
Somehow they've incorporated Vanduul capital ship killing turrets. These turrets ignore small fighters, and they have the firepower to destroy even the biggest capital ships.
Oh, okay.
Your Polaris and your Idris, if you get it close, it will get shredded. The idea of these is so we can sort of make it so we can mix up that ship combat, and not everyone can just bring the biggest ship and win just because they have the biggest ship.
I can get behind that.
You have to send out your best pilots to navigate the superstructure and take down anything that may damage your bigger ships. So at this point you're thinking, destroy the turrets. But it's not that easy. This turret has shields that you've never seen before. It won't take any kind of damage. Your missiles won't do anything, your lasers won't do anything, your ballistics won't do anything to them. But like everything, they do have a weakness. You have to cut the power to their shields. To do that, that actually brings you to your first objective, the power relays.
So the exterior has a number of power relays that are holding the doors closed so that you can't get in.
You have to find them, you have to target them, and you have to destroy them. But it may not be as easy as it seems.
Here's our first wrinkle. The power relays have their own shields that are resistant to energy-based attacks.
We know how much you like using laser repeaters, but so do these guys.
Capital ship can't get close enough because of the turrets.
So ships with explosive or ballistic ordnance will be needed here. That's torpedo ships like your Retaliator or Gladiator, or even another fighter with ballistics loadout. That's going to take you a while.
That seems like a weird, stupid way to force, like, that sort of gameplay, but okay. I like the turrets that don't target small ships. I like that.
And this is where things get really cool.
Now it's time for you to fly your ship inside the station.
Yeah, you, in your ship, fly into the super...
Okay, we have a Death Star 2 thing. Okay, okay. Alright.
I feel like this is a proud dad moment.
We're just going to call it what it is. It's a trench run.
Trench run.
So as you enter the structure, you'll see cooling units along the sides that you'll need to take out. There's 3 arms to the station that have these trenches. You'll fly into one, and then there'll be a core in the center, and then you'll move out another trench.
You're either gonna do it multiple times, or you need to bring friends.
At this point, the core is still protected, so these are essentially strafing runs.
There are objects to avoid. You're going to have to be able to dodge. You're going to have to move quickly. You need an agile ship.
Because the shield generator that you're targeting is emitting lots of distortion damage.
So once the cooling units are out, that exposes the core to overheat, which means that you can attack it from the inside and also from exhaust ports on the outside of the station. This core is armored and just takes a whole lot of damage. Once the power core goes down, the turrets come down, and then the capital ships can get closer. Why is that important? Because during all of this, you spend a lot of ammo and munitions and ballistics, and you're going to want to top up.
This is where we're going to get our new feature in. Ship hangar refueling and rearming.
They mentioned this
You're
before.
Be able to land in the hangar of
Oh yeah, no, they very explicitly mentioned it. Yeah.
right now at stations to refuel and rearm.
It's specifically for ships like the Idris and the Polaris and other ships that are designed to have other ships land inside them.
Of course, it'll be more than just those 2 ships, and you'll find out more once we get closer to release. But this is a really important feature that we're really excited to get out.
If you're not bringing your own Idris, the People's Alliance has a Idris there that can provide a safe port in a storm, allow you to set back up and head back out.
And it's a good thing that you've rearmed and refueled too, because now another group of ships is coming to attack the People's Alliance Idris. So while the fighters are protecting the Idris, what's happening at the station? Well, that's where the dropships come in.
Now you've got to take a fire team in. You've got to land, you've got to fight through an onslaught of FPS enemies that belong to this unknown faction, and you've got to open a hangar door which will allow you to release captives from the station. After you've opened the doors and that person's taken off, you've just got to make sure they get to safety.
So at this point, all of this sounds pretty simple, but there's an additional complication.
So up until this point, it's just been you versus the enemies in the station. But the enemies in the station have their own enemies.
The Vanduul neighbors who really don't like these guys for some reason will come in and wreak havoc on everything.
And they're not going to discriminate
Damn.
between you and the station. They're out for blood.
Fair enough.
When you alert the Vanduul by destroying the power core that the station's now vulnerable, you're on a time limit. Vanduul are coming, they're going to come hard, they're going to keep coming, you're going to have one hell of a fight.
They're not going to tease a kingship, are they? That's not a kingship. But it is a large... That is a big fucking ship. But people are going to say it's a kingship. I could be wrong.
So invested in this. So throughout 2025,
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's not a kingship. But for the next 6 months, people are going to be talking about kingships.
vehicle-based experience is very important to me.
Okay, I like everything I'm hearing. This is like
2026. We're a spaceship game. There are prized possessions. To the objects we fall in love with. This is the content we want to create, which creates scenarios and roles for you to use those spaceships.
I like it, but I don't think...
All roles in it.
I like it, but as a combat player, why is there only combat?
Which incentivizes the use of different ships and scenarios to clear objectives.
Why does everything have to be touched by combat?
And in the future, we can use this to expand on. So I hope you're all just as excited as I am for tactical strike groups. They're going to be fantastic.
Also, it was almost 3 hours. They said it was going to be 2 hours. Like, look, this is exciting.
Okay.
But I'm kind of, I do feel kind of disappointed overall. To be completely honest.
All right, so tactical strike groups. You know, it's been a long road for the last 10 years. The PU's been around. We've done lots to build stuff for mining ships and for salvage ships, and as Rich said, we're currently building out even more for those, and our first refueling missions coming online in 2026. But combat missions. Oh, hi.
Oh.
Aaron Roberts. But finally having enough of the foundation in place that we can begin to build real spaceship operations, in any other MMO they'd call dungeons. It's really exciting for me, and that's why we're ending the show this year with that. So yeah, that's been CitizenCon Direct. Thank you for taking the time to share this with us. Again, this is just a glimpse at some of what's coming in 2026. I've seen the Twitch chat and the YouTube chat like, oh, you're spoiling everything. I promise, we ain't. So, Before we let
They
you
could have
go,
done a better
that's it
job.
for me. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as with every CitizenCon, the last word shouldn't be mine. It should belong to our founders and CEO. So take it away, Chris Roberts.
I hope you enjoyed this glimpse into some of what the team is cooking for the near future. Of course, we're not going to spoil everything that's currently in progress, and many features we haven't discussed today are in active development, like base building, social, and trade tools that are very much a priority. These, along with bringing the final polished features from
Well, clearly they're not a priority if you didn't talk about them.
the most exciting.
Which is fine. Maybe unfortunate, but...
I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to everyone at CIG for working so tirelessly and with so much passion to deliver something that is already special and will only get more so as we continue. And of course, to all of you for making all this possible with your support and feedback. We couldn't do this without all of you, something that I and the team appreciate every day. We are very lucky to be allowed the time and the money to build a game of all of our dreams, something that is only more apparent as the video game business becomes more monolithic. We are one of the few large independents left standing, and there is no way we would be allowed to dream as big as we are on an original game and take the time to achieve that dream if we were part or funded by any of the few remaining mega game companies. So thank you, and I look forward to seeing you all in the verse this coming year.
That is fair. Okay, I want to check the website real quick. We'll switch over to playing a little gameplay, just a little bit. But I'm guessing that's it. So we're just gonna like I said, I want to check the. Okay, so I am disappointed that, like, it feels like we're just, like, I don't think we're at a point where we should be having, like, a super content-focused, development. Like, I mean, we're at the point where we can, and I'm not saying I necessarily hate it. I do think they're kind of overhyping it or acting as if it's better than it is. Oh my god, okay. Alright. So, okay, baby, so... Alright, so, well, we have the Stinger, we have the Shiv, we have this shit. Let's just take a look at... Well, we'll take a look at everything. Okay, we'll take a look at everything. So we do have the flight. Then can I not go through? Okay, this will be a thing. So Vandal plushie. What? Oh, I want. Oh, I see. Oh, okay, there it is. It was hidden by color there. For one thing, I do like the Vandal plushie. That, honestly, is, I should not be excited about this at all, but I am. I don't know what exactly this is. Cool outfit. Yeah, that's fine. The light machine gun. So this is definitely a spoopy We Hate Vandal version of it with Vandal bones on it, which is fine, but funny. Maybe not funny, but I am super excited about this AK. That I'm very excited. The knife, I'm not disappointed by it, but it does seem a little bit strange. I mean, it makes sense in the context that this is a, like, we hate the Vandal, but we really love their technology faction. I think that's cool and interesting. I am gonna be back, but I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry. So, what is this? Retired drillhead? Okay, okay. Soul 3 helmet? Oh, I didn't look at the armor. I didn't see the armor, right? Oh, they don't have a close-up of the armor. Okay, well, Wrecker Payback and Carrion Payback. Wrecker and the Carrion. I assume this is... Whew, I don't know. How much of... I do kind of like the armor, but also... It's a bit more roughshod than I really, really like, but... It is what it is, I guess. Oh no, it is the armor. Okay. Yeah, I can get behind that flight suit. Can definitely get behind it. Okay, so... Yeah. Again, we will play the Vidya game. Now flyable in P2, now flyable... Okay, okay. I was not expecting them... Oh, also, sorry. Upcoming patch, did they... They don't specify, but I assume that it'll be playable in 4.3.2 when it goes live. Trying Which also means they have a new manufacturer. Jesus Christ. Paladin, we don't need to talk about the Paladin. Well, let's see, because I'm sure they battle proven. It's a nice paint. Let's go back to the main website here. Because yeah. Password? Yeah, we don't need to, well, also, let's just look, actually. Is there anything new? Because, of course, there's the merch. Yeah, it's just this stuff. Okay, cool. So let's see. The best of the worst. We forge ships, you forget the rep. Quad remote turret from the Hurricane, loaded with size 3 guns from the F7. So a quad turret from the Hurricane. Okay. Cool. Size 4 ballistic guns from Redacted. I don't even know. It looks like they're from the bottom of the barrel. VTOL is repurposed as main thrusters taken from the Valkyrie. Engine specialized along from the Freelancer. I modded with, yeah, hell yeah. CitizenCon paint offer. I almost genuinely want that blue blossom. Ooh. Do we have any stats on it? So wait, are they expecting people to buy this shit without actual stats? What? Okay. Well, fuck you, actually. What? At least give us the stats, right? It has to have a war bond upgrade? Okay. I gotta admit. I'm a little interested. I'm a little interested, but also like, yeah, I don't know. I'd have to try before I buy, right? I do kind of want to look at this blue blossom paint. Open image, new tab. That looks, I like that. I really like that. I mean, that's probably not to everybody's taste, but I think I kind of like that. It is $9. That is not worth it. Do they actually, because I'm sorry, again, they don't actually have the fucking stats on this thing, which, like, Jesus Christ. Why would you not give the stats on this thing? Oh, it's a unique modified thing or whatever. How much cargo does it have? You mentioned it reduces the cargo. But how much? And why? And all that shit. Nice colors. One size 5. Oh, is it like, I kind of assumed that there were 2 bespoke size 5s, but 4 size 4s and 2 size 2s. Yeah, okay. I mean, if you like disregard the plasma cannon, maybe you want to disregard it, maybe you don't. Yeah, no, that seems, yeah, like it's definitely built to punch above its weight class. Yeah, honestly, that seems nice. Doesn't seem too terrible. I do find myself intrigued by the Shiv. But I cannot fucking buy it without knowing the stats on it. Hang on, let me... So, real bad job there not showing the specs on it. I'm also a little bit like, ooh, I mean, it's like, it's the new shiny thing, which makes it exciting. I don't think I really care that much about it. If the GPS calculator is updated, I'd be amazed. But I'm gonna check, regardless, even though there's no way that they've updated it already. I mean, like, Urkel is such a big thing that Ray? Oh my god, wait, we do have stats on it. Okay. 32 SCU of cargo. These are new size 4s as well. They're using new size 4 guns. I really don't like how they're forcing ballistics into use by being like, oh, lasers are just useless now. Like, no. Like, make the whole shield penetration thing, like, different shields have different shield penetration, so, like, yeah, these ones are, like, yeah, you can use lasers, but these particular shields are way more effective to just use ballistics on. That'd be fine. And the Paladin does have 4 size 5s. Okay. Hang on, I opened up Reddit just real quick, and there's a thing I'm reading here. Okay, sorry. I'm like, my brain's going in all different directions, and I should just sit down and play stuff. Yeah. So, I am... not sure what to think anymore. Again, so like, the thing is, with the... oh, there is so much of a combat focus. Sandbox activities, like, always have an assumption of combat could happen at any time. Somebody could just show up and start shooting at you. So, like, with that in mind, and I mean, how much does that happen? How much will that happen? I don't know. But in the future, like, again, as a combat player, there is more combat gameplay I would love to see. There's a lot more things I'd like to see. I have to go back at the tactical strike groups and look at it, because I don't know how much... I mean, yeah, maybe I want to engage with some ship combat. Maybe I want to engage literally just with the ground gameplay stuff. And I was seeing a Reddit post about, do we need looking for group? Do we need the social tools? And I'm like, I think we do need the social tools at this point. I think that's pretty fair. Like, I mean, like, and the thing I mentioned when Chris was like, hey, these things are a priority, I mean, like, they're clearly not priority one, right? Which is fine. Like, it's development, it's an alpha. They need to develop things, and sometimes, and maybe sometimes it doesn't necessarily make sense, or sometimes it would be, like, the tactical strike groups probably would make more sense if we had the social tools, which honestly I cannot believe are going to be out by then. I mean, maybe they are. We haven't seen a tech preview. We haven't seen a tech preview. We don't know what they're going to look like. What all of that is going to entail. Like, is the tech preview going to be a thing like, hey, actually it only takes 2 months. And then things are all integrated, and then, maybe like there'll be a few rough patches, but or is it going to be a thing where, oh, it's like we're in 6 months and we're in month 6 of the tech preview and maybe it's looking to be ready for release. I don't know. I will say that I don't know what to think right now. I'm almost like I want to go in and play the PTU, but also I don't know. Because I'm sure that my digital goodies are in 432. Which is another reason to look at Reddit real quick. What the fuck? Somebody's like, does it mean it's in game now? Dude, it literally says flyable in PTU on the website. If it's not, then that's something, but... Ooh. Oh my god. Ooh, people... Ooh, there are some opinions. So, like, dynamic server meshing is definitely a thing, but they just didn't talk about it. And instancing is definitely... Instancing is a good thing. Rearm and refuel and cap ships, oh my god, in all caps. Man. Sorry, bud, but like, they literally talked about this earlier in the year. This CitizenCon could have been an email. I mean, like, I honestly kind of have to agree. The duality of man. Devs deserve Stargaritas. Devs don't deserve Stargaritas. Nobody talking about the new weapons and new armor shit? Really? Sorry, I'm sorry. Oh, by the way, also, let me just... Just to prove that we are, in fact, getting to Star Citizen at some point. But I'm just, like, on the... But I am just looking at this real quick, okay? New mining content by insisting it had... Why did they ruin the new mining content by insisting it has FPS elements? Star Citizen East meant to primarily... is not meant to be. Okay. Calm down there, champ. It's okay. As a combat player, I'm right there with you. The bones ruin the armor and weapons. Why? Why bones? Why? Yeah, that's fair. Apparently, a lot of people do not like the armor. What I want to know is it when is it in game? I don't think it's in game. I'm assuming it's going to be 432. My god, Jesus fuck, yeah. Sorry, there's at least one person who's like, yeah, Levski was not supposed to have habitable planets. Why the fuck are they doing this? I think that's probably... Honestly... like, Nyx might be my favorite... Nyx might be the system I play the most in the future, but I'm gonna be, and Nyx 1 might end up being my favorite planet in 1.0. But like, man, they need to fucking explain, like, this is a fucking ridiculously huge retcon in terms of lore. maybe I'm getting a little excited about it. But like, they set up this story and now they're just like, nope, fuck it. There is an element of, I thought there was a whole angle that Nyx 2 was going to be habitable. And, or Nyx 2 was going to be, like, there was going to be research where they were going to be able to terraform a planet, it doesn't really matter which, but, you know, they were going to be able to terraform a planet, and then it would be a whole annexation of Nyx thing, but God, that's fucking wow, man. Yeah, dude, I don't know. And again, like, there's a thing about priorities that, yeah, I can't believe that the social tools aren't even, like, being talked about. We're like, oh, we want to have, like, a 50-person... We want to have a 50-person dungeon, but we're not going to give you the social tools to manage any of it.
Welcome to the ASOP Vehicle Retrieval System.
I can't help but think that that is an absolutely insane take. Like, I don't know, dude.
Your insurance claim has been sent. Please visit us again. Goodbye.
Hang on, I'm just messaging somebody. Okay. And I think overall, like, I am curious to see more from Gray's Market. I guess it's Gray's Market, not Gray, but... eh.
Welcome to the ASOP Vehicle Retrieval System. Please visit us again.
I also feel like, I don't know, it seems like Zach took more credit for binoculars than I think is fair. Are you telling me they genuinely were like, they didn't have a plan for binoculars? They were like, nope, binoculars not gonna be a thing. Then Zach just went and did a basic thing and was like, oh, yeah, we could literally just have a scope that you hold and just have that little thing, and would be the easiest, simplest thing in the world. Like, I don't know, dude. That just seems very odd. I'll probably do a few missions, end it, collect my thoughts, and go back and look at the thing. I am excited for both the rifle and the light machine gun and the rocket launcher. I'm absolutely fine with the fact that the pack does not include the rocket launcher. That's just sensible.
Vehicle selected. Stand by. Your vehicle has been delivered to the following location. Please visit us again.
I do think that there's a lot of, I don't know, like, I do think there's a lot of content and not stability. It's content, it's not stability. And there is, like, they are working on, they're not like trying to make a terrible experience. Server's crashing. Yep. Just like I said. Server stability. Yeah, that's a word for it. Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, like, hang on. It also doesn't really. Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing about the Shiv. We saw the Shiv 2 years ago. We genuinely saw the Shiv and the Space AK 2 years ago. Like, this is, like, Gray's Market has been, like, it was teased with Squadron 42. Which I'm kind of, there has to be more of a story with the Shiv. And don't get me wrong, like, I kind of like it. I kind of wish, I mean, like, it speaks to hope for the, that they're gonna make some updates for the regular Cutlass. With the remote turret especially. Like, yeah, it should just be a remote turret. It should, like, why not? You know? Maybe, like, make it a module that you can swap out if you want a manual turret or a remote turret. Maybe. I don't know. That doesn't seem insane, but... Let's maybe get another elevator. I think that one's been lost to the void. Made the noise. Okay, I guess we're just gonna server hop. Sorry, I'm just trying to read everybody's thing. Because I think I do agree that overall I am like... It seems like a move that... It seems like a move that they should have made... Like, Nyx seems like a thing that they... I mean, I'm excited for what they're doing, but I think they should have... I think they could have done something. They could have done more. It kind of feels like this is what, like, this year, narratively speaking, ASD was the only thing remotely interesting. And even then, like... Probably a lot of the stuff, a lot of the interest came out of... a lot of the interest came out of me watching other things besides the game. Because I think a lot of the audio, I didn't see the audio when I did the missions myself. So, like, it kind of feels like shit. And the new content, I mean, it looks like they're doing baby steps with Nyx, right? Which also is the thing I didn't really talk about. Not really a thing I absorbed very well. Yeah, I mean, like... And honestly, I don't know why. I can tell you, though, that, like, they hugely retcon Nyx, and they need to fucking explain exactly why. That's like, my biggest takeaway, I think, honestly. The biggest thing on my mind... Maybe not the biggest thing, but it's one of the big things. That, like, they have just completely changed... Like, Nyx doesn't make sense. Why the fuck is Nyx not a UEE system if it has Nyx 1? Why is there this habitable planet. God, that fucking irritates me. Because it's like... It irritates me because it looks beautiful, but it should not be there. And the fact that it is there is, like, genuinely just... You've broken so much lore for no reason. Like... I was assuming that all of this stuff was going to be, like, they talked about doing a planet in Genesis, and they didn't talk about which one, and that is Nyx 1. God damn it. Actually, I think for the sake of... Well, things are busted right now, so I think actually I'm gonna just end this here. I'm gonna record my thoughts, and I will be back tomorrow, of course, for the usual stream. But I think, like... Yeah, I'm... Probably just try best again, but... Yeah, alright, sorry. Yeah, I'm just like, I still want to know, like, are the weapons usable in 432? I think if they were, then I would have seen it on the website. Okay, so apparently it's not in-game. Okay, good. Good to know. Probably 432. Probably 432. I don't know why they would wait that long. Alright, sorry. Yeah. I'm gonna end it here. I'll be back tomorrow for your regularly scheduled Star Citizen stuff. Until next time, have a good day.